Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel, leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel, the show is so chilled. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, the show is so chill. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Good morning and welcome everyone to Tell Cockerel channel. For today's instalment or weekly instalment, I don't know where my man Chang is. I think Chang, our clocks have moved forward, haven't they? And where our
Yeah,
clocks have moved forward, I think I don't think Chang's have. So I'm fearing that Chang may join if we're still on in an hour's time. But anyway, regardless of that, I've joined by the lovely Ellie. Good morning, Ellie. How are you? Did your sleeping patterns get affected by the clock going forward?
no, but I got out of bed really quickly, right? And I made myself really dizzy and nearly fell down the stairs. So you might not have seen me.
That's not
Honestly,
good.
I was so dizzy. I don't know what, you know, when you, not, I didn't even see those little stars. I just was so dizzy.
A bit like our
I
club,
don't know.
Ellie.
Yeah, they're not even busy, are they? They're just dizzy.
Yeah, just dizzy, not busy. Yeah, you're quite right. Well,
Yeah.
for those that follow the format, we normally do a weekly show, and normally it's on a Sunday. However, last Sunday didn't do a show because I was with Ellie at the Forest game, so
Yeah.
we didn't do a show on Sunday, but we did the show on Saturday instead. And last week, what a difference a week makes. Last week we were talking about the previous two games, where we'd got a draw and a win against Liverpool, Athletic Madrid, and then looking at the Forest game. Anyway, that was then. That was last Saturday. But since then, we've had a game, and really after that, Ellie, we haven't really had much more, have we?
Uh, no, just the fact that Twitter's blasted all over with the controversy, but we won't go into that because that's we covered that on Still Show last night. But what I feel is that Spurs are in a mess, and they make it even more mess by their silence, Jose,
Right.
because there's apprehension in the fan base about who's going to be our next manager, whether it's going to be Igor, whether it's going to be De Serbi. Sean Dyche came on Sport Talk, is it Sport Talk Sports?
Talk
Sorry,
sport.
and yeah, and said that he hasn't even been contacted. Where you know these ITKs, they always make fake news, and it's really disappointing because you don't know what to believe. But what I've done what Stelz does, and don't believe anything. Just wait until the announcement's made. That's what I'm going to do.
So people are finally landing in Jose's camp because Jose's always been like this. I've always
Yeah, well
said,
done, Jose.
I've always said, until the club tell us anything, don't believe the hype that's been put out there because
Yeah,
in the groups, tongue in cheek, and I'm being really cheeky. I'm putting down does anyone know whether Pot's coming? I'm asking for a mate. And the reason why I'm saying that is there's so many people in the community and in Twitter and everywhere in the world. And I've said this for many years since I started doing my shows. I said you can either be a follower or you can be a leader. And being a leader is standing on your own 2 feet, doing your own research, and then having your own opinion without being swayed by others. And
yeah,
you know,
true.
I'm saying this in tongue in cheek because all the people that were spouting off that Potts was definitely coming in the summer have now all pivoted to De Zerbi's coming. And that was last week. Everyone pivoted. It was De Zerbi. And this week the pivot has changed again, and everyone's on board with Sean Dyche. Um,
I know.
the only real facts of the matter are Ellie at the moment to me is that um, Igor Tudor is the Tottenham manager. It's as
Yeah,
simple as that. He's had a bereavement in his family. Um, Quite weird because talking about bereavement is not a nice thing to talk about. But in Catholic countries, what tends to happen is if you have a bereavement and it's an elder person, they normally get buried the following day.
yeah,
So if someone passed in Spain, where I'm from, the funeral passed today, the funeral will be tomorrow. If there's no complications, then the funeral is normally the day after. But the funeral in Italy, and that's a Catholic country, I think he passed last Sunday after the game or during the game, and his funeral was on Thursday this week, I think it was.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, so 4 days passed before the funeral. But at the end of the day, he's still our manager. All the ITKs are saying, yeah, there'll be a parting of the waves. There'll be a parting of the waves. Um, I mean, it may well happen, Eddie. It may well
Yeah.
happen. At the
Well, they
moment,
said that Monday, isn't it? Tomorrow they're going
yeah,
to make an announcement.
yeah, but Poch was coming in the summer.
I know.
So to me, you can tell me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
We
You
don't
can
know,
be,
do we? Really?
you can be Craig David and give me every day of the week, but it don't really matter until the club tell us, you know. But I
Well,
mean,
even Craig David's rested on Sunday.
yeah, he certainly does, doesn't he?
We're
So
not resting, though, are we, Jose? We're here
no.
for the Spurs community.
Yeah, we're not resting at all. We're giving it to you the way that we see it. But at the end of the day, I suppose, Ellie, the starting point would be. Let's say hello to some people in the chat, and then the starting point would be
Yeah,
we'll have to go back to the Forest game because that's the day after the show last week. So I normally go in order, so we'll probably have to go back to that. But the first person in is your lovely niece.
Georgina.
She says morning Chang and the Cockerel Crew. So she was in whilst I think whilst the music was going on the intro. And then
Yeah,
she says, Auntie Ellie. She didn't realise that our Auntie Ellie's here. So she's put Auntie Ellie. Um, we've
Yes,
got
Trula.
we've got Mr. Shem Shem. Says, good morning, Mr.
Woo!
Bossman, Jose, and the beautiful Queen Ellie Hoiberg, Benton, Corverna Matters. Hope you are well. Has anyone at Spurs said anything yet? The silence is deafening.
Oh
And then
no.
Ellington,
Yes, my
Ellington,
man.
Ellington says, good morning, Ellie and Jose. Good morning, Ellington. Nice to see you here. And then
Yeah.
Drude said, I heard last night Poch is getting sacked because of the USA result, and he'll be taken over at Spurs. I don't know what the USA result was. I saw some people, not that I pay much attention, but I think I saw someone, and I don't even know what they said. It might have been in the WhatsApp group saying that he's tinkered with the system or something, and that's all I heard. I couldn't tell you the result because I don't know. It was bad enough trying to look for my predictions results because they're all over the world. So, I don't know how America got on. Um, but yeah, I think the best place to start, Ellie, is you and I were there
Yeah, we
last week, and,
were.
and I've got to go back and relive this again. So we were at the Forest game, Ellie. What were your
Yeah,
thoughts? Because you got there earlier than me, I believe. Yeah, you did.
I
Because I was
did.
late. I was late on the trains because I called you, didn't I? And I'd only just got off at Northumberland Park.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to seeing you before the match, but it didn't happen. But at least we hooked up inside the game at half time. Yeah. I just felt the game, it had a lot of sadness because you see the players on the pitch and only a few are trying, in my opinion. You know, really, really trying to make us even get forward, yet alone make two or three passes accurately. And I was very disappointed at half time. We didn't play too badly in the first half. It was pretty good. We done some nice moves. Tell was busy. Gray was busy. Ganso was awesome at the back. But the rest of the team, there was, especially Solanke and Richie, they were very disappointing, Jose. What did you think?
Well, I went down to see you at half time, didn't I? And
Yeah,
when I went down to see you, you told me this. You said this to me at half time. You said that
yeah.
that you felt that Solanke. I think your words you said to me, "He don't look fit," is what you said to me.
Yeah, I did because he doesn't look fit. I can tell when a player's not fit because they're not turning properly. Their movement is slow. He's got no
Yeah,
energy about him. You know.
yeah, that's what you said to me when I went down to see you at half
Yeah,
time. Um, sorry, pure court. Nigel's here. Good
just
morning,
my
Nigel. I hope you're well.
observation.
I hope you're well, Nigel.
All right,
Um,
Nigel. Yes.
and sorry, Shem's saying no youngest looking old man today will stay a we'll say a goodbye to Mr. Chimichanga wherever he is, or a hello, whichever he's saying. And good morning to
Yeah.
Kate. Kate's here. Good morning, Kate. I hope you
Yes,
are
Kate
well. Nice to
Wrexham.
see you. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Um, so when I went to see you at half time and you said that to me, I, my words to you were, I think that he is not used to playing in the hole because he was playing behind Richie. So I said to you, but I
Mm.
just don't think he's used to playing the 10 and in the hole behind Richie because Richie was the furthest forward. And I felt there's a couple of times in the first half that he'd done some good things. But I did say to you as well, but you need to be fed. And I don't think we're feeding the players. Look, for me, and we spoke about this at half time, you're saying that you think we did well. I thought we huffed and puffed. I really did. I thought we huffed and puffed. I didn't see
Mm.
many clear cut chances, but we huffed and puffed. I mean, we hit the. I'm saying we huffed and puffed. I don't think their goalkeeper made a save in the first half, but we hit the post.
Yeah.
But we did hit
Held
the
it,
post.
didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt that we huffed and we puffed Ellie in the first half, but I didn't think that we
Yeah.
were carving openings. Would that be the right way to say it? I didn't think we were
Yeah.
carving openings.
What I think, Jose, the reason I said that is because we looked more. There was more intensity with our play, and the players looked like they wanted it. That's what I thought. Maybe you feel like we huffed and puffed, but I thought we tried to progress the ball. We were getting in good areas. There was good movement off the ball as well, I noticed. And it was just generally not too bad a half compared to what we saw at Newcastle, Palace, and Fulham. it was more, there was more energy from the players. That's what I'll use, the word energy, because especially from young Archie Gray and Danso, they were up for it. Solanke got himself about a bit, but the thing is, what I was going to say about Solanke as well, because you mentioned that he's not used to playing in the hole. If you remember under Ange, he was playing in the hole a lot, an awful lot, and by design, I think Ange wanted him to play there
Who
because
was playing up? Sorry, Eddie.
he's
Who
not
was
bad.
playing
He's
up
not
front
a
then?
bad technical player, Solanke. He can hold. He can hold the ball. Sometimes he's got a little bit of bad touch, and it gets away from him. But most times it sort of sticks, and he can turn. But what I'm thinking, like I said, I don't think he's fit because he's not moving right. And I can tell when players are not fit because the energy in their body, and the way they move their body, they turn their bodies too slow. Because I've seen Solanke move a lot. He's not a fast player, don't get me wrong, but I've seen him move a lot quicker than he is. And I think his ankle was the problem, wasn't it, when he was injured, I believe.
Yeah,
So, when the ankle's injured, because I've had a really bad ankle injury as well, when I was playing football, and it does affect you for a long, long time. 'Cause you feel twinges, and I think that's what he's probably doing. He's turning, and then you can see it, sort of stalls, and his body don't move right. Um, I've just noticed that, but the thing, I just thought we played okay. We weren't brilliant in the first half, but the energy was pretty good in terms of getting forward.
sorry, can I just ask you, Ellie, because
Yeah.
if you're saying that he played in the whole last year for Ange, then who
Hmm.
was playing up front?
He was up front, but the thing is, if you remember Jose, he was dropping in the middle a lot, right? And he was helping out in terms of getting the ball forward. And we were all arguing a lot in YouTube podcasts that get in the bloody box, Solanke,
Okay,
and score goals.
so he was playing in a nine, but was dropping to help the team.
Yeah, he was like a false nine in a way.
Okay, right.
That's
So,
how I saw it. That's
so
how I saw it. He wasn't playing a 10, but he
yeah,
was like, he was linking play from the middle. And especially when Madders was injured, he was sort of not adopting Maddison's role, but he was in that middle. And I remember loads and loads of people saying, get in the bloody box and score a goal. Yeah. And it was
yeah,
mostly Brennan Johnson who was getting in the box and scoring the goals, wasn't it? He outscored Solanke. So that just shows you. I just feel that he needs to be a number 9. Because when he played for Bournemouth, right, in that 19 goal season, he was a proper number 9. And I remember him when he played against us, right? He had so many chances to score, right?
yeah.
He had about 8 or 9 chances to score, and he squandered them all. And we won that day. But yeah, I just feel that he's not playing as a proper number 9.
Interesting, interesting. Um,
Yeah.
you've got Nita here. She says, "Good morning, Jose and Ellie. Good morning, Nita. Hope
Morning,
you're well.
Nita.
Hope you're well, and that your
Yeah.
grandchildren are well, and your family are well." And she says, "Morning to all in the chat." Drula says, "These players are protesting on the pitch. They're fed up like we are with the lack of ambition and false promises from this incompetent board." And so people saying hello to each other. And then Shem says, "You can't carve open opportunities or teams or defences if your blade is blunt." And
That is a
then
very good point.
and Drula says 4-4-4 was the formation against Forest, and Solanke ain't Kane. He needs to stay in the box, says Drula. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
I yeah, I felt that in the system we played against Forest, he was playing off Richie, and Richie was the 9, and he was the 10. And
Yeah.
I thought that he found the alien, and that's why I said to you, who did he play in a 10 for last year? Because I understand that he played, like you're saying, like a bit of a false 9, and he was dropping in to help the team out, but that's because we bloody needed help. Um, but I can't remember because either last season, either him or Richie didn't play much together at all anyway, because one or other was injured last year, and
Yeah, they were.
it seems to have been that same pattern again this year. One or other is injured, but lately in the last couple of weeks or so, they've both been fit for selection, and therefore
Mm.
that's why he probably played that 4-4-2 last week. Um, but I take on board what you're saying. You know, you've got to get in the box to score goals. But then my other argument to that, Ellie, or my counter argument to that is, but you need to be fed.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to come in as
Yeah,
well,
go on.
because I was so disappointed, Jose, that Xavi didn't start
Yeah,
after that fabulous game he had against
Madrid.
Athletic Madrid, right? It was a perfect performance, but you could see the boy has got talent, right? And he can turn it on just like that, right? He's got that spark, right?
Yeah,
And we needed that. We needed some creativity so that Solanke can concentrate on being a number nine. And then you know what he could have done? Like it, you know, in the Europa Cup, Jose, and we played Richie on the left,
yeah,
right? And he's more experienced than Tell, and he draws fouls as well because he's a master of falling over, right, and getting fouls. And sometimes he doesn't get them, but most times he does. All right. And then me personally, I like Mawani playing as well. Even though he hasn't scored, he's technically a really good footballer. I like the way he takes the ball down and he dribbles and he gets involved, right? And all right, he hasn't scored goals, but you're not going to play him as a number nine. You can play him as a false nine and have Solanke as the proper nine. And I've noticed, right, as well with Moani, there was one particular goal that he linked up with Xavi so beautifully, and Xavi scored. I think it was Xavi who scored, yeah. And I just feel that we're not balancing the team right and playing players out of position. That's something that's always mentioned. But still, wherever when you're in a false position, you've still got to pull your weight. Yeah, you've still got to try your best, regardless of where you are on the pitch. Because a lot of players in the Premier League, they're always with injuries and circumstances. They are asked to play different roles. But in our team, because we've been so injury ravaged, it's been forced upon the managers. Right, so I think he could do better, the Igor Tudor. If we do keep him, I think he can do better with the team selection. If he's going to put people like what they say, square pegs
round
in
pegs
round
into square.
holes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
round peg. I hate that saying.
It's
I
one or
just
the other.
think
You can
put.
use the round or the square or the round. Either way, we'd
Yeah,
understand what you're saying.
yeah. I
Yeah,
just hate that saying, but because I always get it wrong. Um, yeah, but we can. You still need the players who are played out of position, out of circumstance, to pull their weight, and they're not. They're not pulling. The only one who's been all over the shop for us, is Archie Gray. You can't say the boy isn't putting a shift because he is. All right, he's not ready yet for the Premiership, in my opinion, because he's a bit lightweight. His physicality's not quite there. Yeah, so but that's what we've got, Jose. So we've got to go with it. Yeah,
mm, yeah.
there's nothing we can do about that. But I just personally think Xavi should have started because he deserved to start as well. And when you don't start a player that's had a really good game previously, it dampens their confidence. It really does because they think, why aren't I playing? And I'm on the bench. And I was screaming. I don't know whether you heard me at the back, but I was screaming at 55 minutes to bring on Xavi because I thought I'll leave it 10 minutes, see if anything changes. And Forest were dominating that midfield. Yeah. And they were fantastic in defence. We needed something else.
Dude,
Yeah.
I actually thought that you're quite right. Um, I actually thought that they didn't have to try hard for it. In my
No.
opinion, they didn't seem to have to try hard to dominate. It's as if like we aided and abetted them, we helped them, and so therefore they
Yeah,
didn't have to try that hard to help them out. Um,
it's true.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, whether clubs have got players like this or not, last season and the season before and everything, we're crying out for. We want Madison to play in the
Yeah,
in the 10. We want Kulu to play in the 10. We want players to play in the 10. So this year we're without them two players. So we buy a 10 in Xavi. Um, and possibly in emergency situations, you could probably use Kudos in a 10 as well. But it seems to be the players that we're playing, well, we don't play with that 10. So we're not playing with that creative spark. And if the one thing I can say about Tottenham from all the games I've been to see this season, which is nearly all of them, at home that is, and I think you're going to say this as well because you've been to the matches as well, Ellie. The
yeah,
matches are crying out for, they're crying out for that number 10. They're crying out for that creative player. Um,
yeah.
and I agree. So hold on, let me just say it. You got
Especially because he had a
I've got to
fantastic game
got
against
to give out a shout.
Atleti.
Got to give a shout out to Kate because Kate is absolutely on the bandwagon, possibly more than me because I've been saying this before we even brought him to the club. Kate says, "Lounge out wet lettuce." Now, Kate, if you don't know my shows from when we first got Lang, or there was word that we were getting Lang, I turned round and I said, uh, okay, he's got to be shit. There must be something wrong, and he's got to be shit because Aston Villa haven't put him on gardening leave. With these directors of football, if they're going to other clubs, they normally stick them on 6 months gardening leave because they've already got plans at their own club, and in order to share plans with other clubs, they don't let them go. But Aston
Yeah,
Villa said, "Yeah, you can have him straight away." So it set alarm bells for me. Before we even signed him, I was like, "Why are Villa letting him go?" And he's not being put on gardening leave. So, Kate, I'm 150 million% behind the Lang out wet lettuce, and I was before he started at the club. Um, Drula's
yeah.
reminding everyone
True.
that the likes ain't matching the
Yeah, come
show,
on.
and they're not
Smash
matching
the
it.
likes,
I, we got
everybody.
we got 50% likes to those that are watching. Um, Kate also says Tudor lineup was all wrong. Paulinho Gallagher should have been in midfield. We will discuss this.
Yeah.
Drula loves Kate's comment. Um, and then Kate
It
says
was
Drula
brilliant.
could have said worse than that, love. Kate, you're welcome to say what you like. Drula says, Kate, keep up the wet lettuce, sums him up completely. There we go. Yeah, so like like um like Kate says there, I mean, we're talking about having a creative player. And I'm with you, Ellie, and with a lot of
Yeah,
I'm with the people that in the chats that I see as well. Tudor's not for me. Tudor's not a bad man, right? He's not a bad man. He's trying to do a job with the tools he's got. What we don't know, and we're not privy to, is we're not privy to what the players' bodies are like. I mean, they wear them contraptions now where they're monitored in training. The monitor during the game, you go in the red zone, the orange zone, the green zones, and all that. So I don't know whether it's a bit of that. The Paulinho head injury, I don't know whether he's allowed to play or whether it's a precaution they didn't play him. I don't know, but in an ideal world, right? And I'll say this, and I've said this since the day we bought the fella, right? Pat Matissar, for me, I don't know what he is, I don't know what he does, and I don't rave about him. Everyone was saying to me at the start when we bought him, yeah, but he's African Young Player of the Year for Africa. And I said, okay, that's all well and good, but what's he done? He was playing for Lens in a relegated team when we loaned him out there. He weren't pulling up trees. He came to play for us. He had that one game against AC Milan. It was him and Ollie Skip
yeah,
where
yeah,
they were forced to play because of injuries and suspensions, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" And I thought to myself, "Yeah, he was tidy, but it was a defensive display against AC Milan, and he was tidy. But we don't need defensive displays now. We need to score goals in order to win games." And
yeah.
I don't know how
True.
frustrated you were, Ellie. Um,
What, Pape Matar?
yeah, and I don't know how frustrated
Um,
you are, but all I ever
I,
see,
I
and
see him as
remember,
an
remember,
athlete.
remember where we were sitting, right? Remember where we were sitting in the West Stand, Dels? We
Yeah,
can see both sides of the pitch, can't we?
yeah, of
Right?
course.
And right in front of my eyes, and it must have been in front of yours where we were, right? He ran sideways on the pitch. He just kept running sideways on the pitch and
Yeah,
then passing the
he
ball back
did.
to the fullbacks or passing it back to the centre backs or passing it back to the goalkeeper. He never progressed one ball forward. And to
No.
me, I'm just like, what?
I mean, we had bloody Ollie Skip and not so much Ollie Skip, but Harry Winks. He was a sidewinder. He hardly ever progressed the ball. And now we've got Pape Matar. But the thing is, right, with Pape Matar, we've seen him play good games, where he's progressed the ball. So I don't know what's happened with him. Because you remember in the Europa Cup final, he done that really good cross that led to our goal, right? I don't know if everybody remembers that, but he did. And I just see him as an athlete, and he just passes the ball sideways all the time or backwards. And he's not effective, so he shouldn't really be playing. On form alone, he shouldn't be playing, yet alone whether he passes sideways and backwards. Because some midfielders, they're tidy, but they don't really affect a game. But ball flowing, if you know what I mean. But you got to keep the ball flowing forwards sometimes as well. You can't just be passing backwards and sideways, all right? And we had Bentancur doing that a lot, and he was getting stick for it because you remember when he was under Conte, he was progressing the ball, but under Frank, Bentancur went like Saar. He was passing sideways and backwards all the time.
Yeah,
All right, it was keeping the ball. It's not doing anything to damage the opposition. All right, so I just see him as an athlete. He's more of an athlete than a footballer, and his tech is quite poor. Right, when he receives the ball, he sort of it's on the ball. Do you know what I mean, Jose?
yeah,
It's not like the ball. When a really good player receives the ball, right? It's like the ball's part of their body, and they control it beautifully, and they're off. With Pape Matar, he's quite a lanky lad as well, and he's got quite long legs, and he just doesn't. The coordination's not there to receive the ball like you should be receiving the ball. So, and he's passing even when he's not passing sideways or backwards, it can be quite poor, and we can really get damaged by that because when you lose the ball, and you've got even better teams than Nottingham Forest, they will punish you, right? So I'm worried about that, and I agree. I agree with Kate Rixham that Paulinho should have started. Maybe Gallagher, yeah. But I like Pauline. No, I like Pauline. I love Pauline. And I was arguing with Dietrich on Stell's show last night because he said he's not good. And I said, are you having a laugh? He's not good. He wins. He's the most tackles won. He wins all his duels more or less. I've hardly ever seen him lose a duel. And he plays it simple. And all right, he's passing is not always great, but it's normally on point. Yeah, he
who?
doesn't lose the ball. Paulinho, he
Paulinho.
doesn't
Okay,
lose the
Paulinho.
ball as much as
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people think he does. Yeah, his job is to win the ball. That's his job. He's a number six. Win the ball, pass it to someone who could create. Because we haven't got playing Xavi, even before Igor Tudor playing Xavi, he was dropped by Thomas Frank as well.
Sorry, Ellie.
So
Shall we let him in? He's decided to join us.
oh, Chang. Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
Chang has decided to join us.
Woo! He's woken up from the slumber.
Oh,
Oh,
he's offline, it says. Okay.
okay.
Okay, no, he's in his
He'll
car, I
join.
think. He's in his car. Ronnie
Oh,
says hello,
okay.
hello, Jose and Ellie.
All
And
right,
Nita
Ronnie.
says, none of the last three managers has helped to develop any of the players. There's been no consistency from the managers for the young players. And then says, not sure how old Sarr is and how long he's been at Spurs. Would need to look it up. He's 23 and he's been at Spurs on and off for 4 years. There he is.
There he is.
Good evening, Mr. Chang.
Hey, all right,
How are you,
Chang.
sir? Don't bother apologising. We don't. There's nothing matter. No need for apologies. Welcome. Nice to see you here. How are you, Mr. Chang?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. I'm not apologizing. I just want to point out that I had no idea the clock's already gone back today, was it? Or was it last night? But better
Yeah,
late than never. I thought I had time to spare. I'm actually still on the road. This right here is a steering wheel. I'm actually broadcasting from a car, but it's fine.
we
Uh,
can
thank
see.
you for thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in despite another setback.
Hold on. He's
I mean,
driving whilst he's talking.
I
He's
mean,
diving. Look,
honestly,
He's multitasking. Get him in our
I'm
midfield.
I
Oh,
am a bit to say that I'm a bit disappointed and let down by the full time result is a bit of an understatement. Seeing how we were all on a high from those two encouraging performances away on our travels at Anfield and also against Atletico Madrid. But you know what? It's just like Kutse Romero said himself in social media. We have another 7 more cup finals to come after the end of the international break, and the sooner the final round of the World Cup playoffs are done and dusted, the better, because we have to really focus now on the remaining few fixtures that we have to just stay ahead of West Ham, and hopefully, come end of the season, we will still be able to retain our Premiership status. Having said that, straight back to you, Senor Garcia.
um, we have got people. Look at this. We got royalty coming in
oh,
now. Good morning, or
yeah.
hey, Jose Queen Ellie. Great to see you all. Geez, Chang. Um, rubbish,
David.
rubbish beard man. Good morning. I hope you're well. Says don't forget that he's
Rubbish
not afraid.
beard man.
Yeah, don't forget he's not afraid to get in the box and score the occasional goal too. I think he's referring to Pat Matassar. Um,
Or maybe
yeah,
Paulinho.
okay, yeah, it could be Paulinho. But yeah, so
Yeah, because he
we
scored
were
a lot.
saying, I think we were talking about, we've kind of glossed over the game, Chang, quickly, and we're talking about um, Igor Tudor. Um, and we are not paid medics, so we don't understand whether what zones the players in and that. But some of the decision making that's been made of team selections kind of leaves us baffled sometimes. But we don't know whether there's any ulterior motive behind it. But certainly playing now, they're youngsters. Sarr and Gray are young. They probably have got engines on them, but they're playing far too many games for my liking and not fresh enough. And unless there was problems with Paulinho and with Conor Gallagher, then I honestly can't see why they're not playing. I mean, Paulinho's a destroyer six, right? For me, I think he's got to give an opportunity to play Paulinho, Conor Gallagher, and Xavi Simons. It's important that we have a creative player there and that we have our destroyer. So for me, I'd like to see a team, and if it doesn't work, but not, I'm not talking about one game, guys. I'm talking about a series of games. You can't say one game didn't work. Oh shit, rip it up, start again. No, people have to find consistency, and the only way you find consistency, Ellie, you've played, you know the score about consistency. You've
Yeah,
got to get used to the players that you're playing with, and you've got to play with them often, more often than not, to build that relationship. And then you start reading you'll know where players are because you'll know their movements, so you know where they're going to be, where they're going to move to. So before even looking up, you know your player is going to be over in that position, you know. And I think we're missing that because we're not playing these players often in their positions and often enough. Um, I would like to see I would like to see them three playing together. Um, I mean, I don't know what your opinions are, Els, but that's the way that I'm
yeah.
looking.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because you've got Conor Gallagher, a box-to-box midfielder, can link play
Yeah,
from
I mean,
defence through to the middle. And then you've got Xavi, who's a creator, and then you've got Paulinho, who's a ball winner. So it gels. It makes sense, Jose. You need. Look, you look at Aston Villa, right? They've got John McGinn, who's a bruiser. He can win the ball and he passes forward, right? He's got a little bit more about of his game as well because he's like a sort of 6'8". He's sort of got that blend, but so has Conor Gallagher. He's like a 6'8", right? So he can get forward, and then you've got Xavi who can create and link the play from when Paulinho and Gallagher bring the ball forward, and he'll do that extra bit where he can hurt teams. Yeah, and you need that in a team. It's essential, right? And when I didn't see Xavi starting, especially after that really good goal he scored against Atleti and the good performance he put in, like I said, he wasn't perfect, but it was probably his best performance in the Spurs shirt, bar the Brentford game. Yeah, so you have to have that. It's very important, especially against Forest, because they dominated and they didn't even have to try really to dominate. It was like too casual for them.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. I thought they found it too easy to play against
Yeah,
us. 'Cause, yeah, it was. I think that it wasn't that they were brilliant. It's just that we, in the second half especially, we were woeful.
yeah,
And I don't think any of the substitutions that were made. Because remember when I was down with you at half time, Els, and we were having a
yeah,
chat. I give you a cuddle. We was having a chat and that. And then
yeah,
I
yeah.
turned around and looked down because your seat's pucker where you were, and I looked
I
down
know.
and I said, "Look,
Brilliant.
a doggy's there with flashing. He's 13, and he's down there doing the runs on the side of the pitch with his top off and everything." So I said, "A doggy's coming on." And as soon as I said that, we then see Bergvall come out and
I
start doing the
know.
runs with his 15 top on. And I said, "Oh, well, they're making a change." And I think I said at the time, Bergvall's got to be coming on for Saar. How wrong was I?
I
How wrong
know.
was I? Bergvall, they took off Van der Ven and Jed Spence. But I did say to you, didn't I? At half time, I did say to you, Els, it's really interesting that that Van der Ven's played left back because he plays there for his country and for other teams he's played there before. But he's either injured or he looks disinterested. And I said this to
Yeah,
you at half time.
I
And then
know.
I didn't expect him to be one of the players they took off. I thought they
Yeah,
might
do you
have moved.
know?
Gone.
I was just going to say, do you know Jed Spence, right? I don't even think that was tactical. I think because he was playing rubbish. He looked disinterested. He was absolutely atrocious, Jed Spence. His body language, the way he was playing, his energy wasn't there. He was like, when the player sort of flaps his arms and he was like that, like he's disinterested, right? And I think Igor Tudor said, right, I'm getting him off. And then he just put Porro as right back, didn't he? And then put Udogi in the place of Van der Ven. And Van der Ven was playing left wing back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think, bring on Xavi, take off Saar, bring on Gallagher and Paulinho, so we can get a grip of that midfield. Because Anderson, very good player, very strong player, can pass the ball, keeps it simple, keeps the move, but he passes progressively. Yeah, he's not a sidewinder.
Yeah.
So we had a sidewinder that needed to come off, and I'm with you, Jose. I was so disappointed at the substitution. I lost my voice, and I still haven't even recovered. I still got a croak in my voice
That's
from
the your that was
screaming.
that was your Enoch out that you were singing as well.
Yeah, I did that as well. That didn't help because, yeah, I did. I started the Enoch out chants. I don't know if you heard me, but I was so loud and I leaned over and shouted at the director's box. I was so disappointed. I wanted to. I wanted more control of that middle because when you get the control of the middle, you can do things, can make things happen.
Yeah.
Such an important part of the field.
So we've got Ronnie says 4-4-1-1. Kinksky, Spence, Danso, Radu, Souza. Gray, Bergvall, Tell, Kudos, Xavi, and Richie. This should be the team if we want a chance to stay up. Um, I must admit, I'm not on board with all that team, Ronnie. To be honest, I think that
I wouldn't put Bergvall in.
yeah, I think that
Nah,
the
just
youngsters need.
runs. Don't
We
like
need
him.
the youngsters. We can bring on the youngsters if we need to up intensities and stuff like that. But I think we need to go back to basics, and back to basics is
Yeah. No,
get your get your
I'll
destroyer
change
six in
my.
there.
I don't like Bergvall. I don't dislike it. I like him. Sorry, I don't not like him, but I just think he's not ready. He's not ready for the big time Premiership yet. He's too raw, and he's over enthusiasm from being a youth. He doesn't do he doesn't do what I want him to do, you know? Like he progresses the ball by running and then there's no end product. Yeah, that's lack of experience. He holds on to the ball too long. Yeah, and there's parts of his game that are really good because he's a strong lad, and he can keep the ball and he can run forward, but you've got to improve that end product. It's not there, and he needs more experience. We should have really put him on loan, Jose, so he can gain experience, say, in the championship, make more of a man of him. Yeah, I
Mm.
just don't think he's ready.
So you've got Chris. Look at that. It's Chris Agambar. Good morning, Chris. Says big up Jose, Ellie, Mr. Chang. Good morning, Chris, mate. I hope you are well. Marianne is here. Good morning, Marianne. I hope you're well as well. Says morning,
All
Jose,
right,
Ellie, and
Marianne.
Chang, and all in the chat. Drula says SAR's been dreadful. And then Drula also says, Spence thinks he's better than he is. I hate his attitude and stamped that out of his game, and that's creeped back in. Um, Archer's here. Good morning,
True.
Jim. Archer's here.
Archer.
Good morning, Jim. It says good morning, Jose, Ellie, and Chang. Paige is here. Good morning,
Woo.
Paige. I hope you are well. Or is it good afternoon? Good afternoon to you, Paige, because you're in Holland and it's an hour ahead. So good
Nice.
afternoon to you, Paige. But it's still our morning. So you're quite right, Paige, by saying good morning to us because it's still our morning. And Nita's asking me, and yes, Nita, it is. Nita's asking me, am I drinking a Huel? Yeah, I am. I'm drinking one of the Black Edition ones. Oops, where is it? Black Edition.
Is that Gary Neville's company?
It's not his
Or
company, but he
does he
promotes.
just endorse it?
He endorses Huel, but Huel's good.
Yeah,
If
he
people look up,
endorses it.
if
Yeah.
people look up Huel, Huel's decent. So I'm drinking the strawberry and banana black edition. It's got 35 grams of protein in it, and it's got all the vitamins that
Nice.
you need, and it's vegan friendly, so it hasn't got all the bad things in there and that you normally get. But yeah, I'm on one. I have one nearly every day, Nita. I quite
Yeah.
like them, and it helps me with my weight losses as well by having this because it replaces a meal. And yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
Nice one.
Chris Agambar then says, eyes on the road, Mr. Chang. This is what I said. Chang's driving whilst he's talking. And then you've got Chris here. Good morning, Chris. I hope you're well. Says, ever since Spence got
Hey.
in that first England call up, his arrogance has returned. Right, on the Spence situation, because people are discussing Spence, what I find with Jed Spence is whether he's playing right back or left back, Jed Spence does the same thing all the time. He gets in a fuzzle and then he protects the ball with his putting his body and his backside out, and he tries to amble some space and he tries to do a trick to get out, and everyone's read him. Everyone's read the trick he's going to do, and it's really, really, really mad how he finds himself in them positions. And um, on the left, I find he imbalances the team playing at left back. I think that we are
Mm.
really, really imbalanced when we played Spence at left back. I would rather have a natural left footer play there. And if a doggy's not fit enough, then we bought Souza for a reason. People, I mean, I don't know what your opinions are, Ellie and Chang or Souza, but I think Chang may have heard this. Ellie, I'm not sure whether you have. But when people are telling me Souza's not ready, I'm like, the kid's been playing in the Brazilian league for 2 years now. He's been a first teamer. In Brazil, they've got hatchet men. They've got people that are right nasty players in Brazil, right dirty players. I mean, they can be sublime skillful players, but they do go in hard. They've got some right rock hard players. So this player has been playing against men for 2 years in the Brazilian league. What's he going to be scared of in the Premiership? Because in the Premiership, it's powder puff. People ain't hatchet men in the Premier League, are they? So if the doggy's not fit, play Souza. Play him. He's naturally left-footed. Don't imbalance the
Yeah.
team. I hate all this imbalancing. Again, Eddie, like you said earlier, round pegs into square holes,
Yeah.
and we keep doing this.
Well,
And I think we need to stop doing this.
yeah, but we started him against Palace, right? And he was pretty busy, wasn't he, against Palace, right? And then he chops down Muniz. Right. I was really impressed. I thought, yes, lad, get in there. Right. Because he made the actual tackle. I'm not sure if he got a yellow. I can't remember. But he took him out, didn't he? I thought, yeah, that's what we need. Somebody who's aggressive, right? And he was getting forward as well, linking up play quite well. He's quite a little tidy player, got good feet. You know the Brazilians, you know that they sort of dance on the pitch, don't they? They've got that sort of samba dance, and I was quite impressed with him. And then we took him off, didn't we? Oh, I thought, why take him off? He was doing all right. He wasn't brilliant, but he was doing all right. And I thought he was busy, and he wanted, you could see that he had that energy. and you could tell that he's a very technical player as well. So yeah, I was disappointed that Igor took him off. I
Yeah,
liked him. I didn't
yeah.
see him against Liverpool because it was Mother's Day, so I can't comment on that. And I've only seen highlights. They didn't really show him in the highlights.
Mm. Chang, your thoughts on Spence?
I think there's nothing much that I can add about him. That everyone has already said about him. He blows hot and cold, and more often than not, only when it fancies him does he actually turn on the style or even show any sort of interest in helping the team. And I think that is going to be his undoing. He has talent, and there is talent there in abundance. We've seen it time and time before. But it's as you said earlier, when the going gets tough, then the tough gets going for him, and I believe that's where he is at the moment. What he really needs is maybe some time on the sidelines again. But given our injury woes, I think we can ill afford to try to discipline players, especially when we need every single last bit of help that we can muster. And and this is a big if we are to actually pull this off and survive this relegation battle that we truly find ourselves in a deep end at the moment, I honestly think that he's actually one of those few players that can actually make a difference for us if he actually pulls his weight. So I mean, if it was if it was still Big Ange at the helm, he wouldn't have tolerated any of this. But then again, if it was Thomas Frank, I'm not sure if he would be any different than Igor Tudor. And because Tudor is still relatively new at the helm, maybe he still hasn't fully grasped the mentality and also the approach of so many of these players that he has to sort of quickly get to grips with. And I think Jet Spence is one of those players that he really has to turn a corner for me. Uh, he is one of those players that can really affect things going down either flank, and sadly for us, I think we've seen far too few of that. And his omission from the World Cup squad would be a big indictment on this. So if and this is what is a big if he actually fancies himself to get on a plane to go to the Americas for the World Cup, then he has very, very little time left to actually impress Thomas Tuchel as to why he should be considered to be part of the England squad. But what do I know, right? So yeah, my final words on Spence is that either you shape out or you ship out. It's as simple as that. And I mean, if there were better options, I'm sure we would have gone for a better option than him. But if he's the best available option, then I think we have to stick with him, regardless of the current form he's in. But I really do hope he does pull his socks up now, because we are going to need every single last bit of help that we can muster to survive this relegation battle. Having said that, back to you, Sino Garcia.
Nita says, I buy the vanilla. My daughter introduced me to the berry one. Not bad at all. Yeah, because they do different ones. They do a light, a normal, and a black edition. I have the black edition ones because it's got more protein in it. The
Yeah.
normal ones only have 26 grams of protein. But I like the black edition because it's got more protein. So, but yeah, they are very good. I would endorse it as well. And I'm not Gary Neville. Um, Kate Kate says, Spence has been shocking since he's been in the England team. Thinks he is too good to play for Spurs. Drula has stated, are you in contact with Kate Rixon, Ellie?
No, yeah,
Oh,
maybe through WhatsApp. Yeah,
okay, because
I'm not sure.
she says
Maybe on
Kate she
Two
says
Mark
Kate
show.
yeah, she says, Kate, I've created you a wet lettuce lang and I've sent it to my auntie Ellie. So if somehow if
I look
somehow
forward to seeing
if
that.
if we know where Kate is, and if Kate's in any of the groups, we'll try and get this sent over to Kate. Um, let's pass it along. Let's show the love. Send Langs and wet lettuce over to Kate. Thank you
Yeah,
very much,
yeah,
Tudor.
Jose. You know when you said they go on garden leave for 6 months?
Yeah.
What I would do with Lang, I'd lock him in the room and throw the key away. sorry, Lang, if you're watching, but that's what I'd do to you. And also, he's not just a wet lettuce; he's dry as toast. He's so dry, honestly. He hasn't got no personality, the man. He has. He must bore the player. You know when he's trying to
Does he need
recruit
a
players, he
does he
must
need a
bore them to
rocket up
death.
his
That's why they're not coming.
does he need a rocket up his thingy then, does he? Up his
Yeah,
Jackson. He needs a
he
rocket up his
does.
Jackson to fire him
But
up.
the thing, he was sacked by Aston Villa, wasn't he? He was
Yeah, Aston Villa,
sacked.
I don't know whether he sat Aston Villa let him go. Aston Villa just
Yeah,
let
they
him
let
go
him go,
completely.
right? Same thing.
Completely.
Sacked,
Yeah.
let him go. They didn't think he was good enough, but
That's right.
Spurs, oh yeah, we think he's good enough.
Like I
But
said, go on.
they're good. He's good enough for a purpose that they want to serve, which I've said on other streams.
Yeah,
Because he's a yes man, he'll do it. He'll do exactly what they tell him to do. Yeah, and
yeah.
he'll wield out their lies. That's what
Yeah,
he
it's
does.
just no good for us, that's all. Shem Sam then
No,
further says, Spence showed in the England game he is not a left back. He just does nothing. Runs into dead ends because he's just useless on the left. Kept coming back and passing back, just unbalanced every time he plays there. Right. The thing for Thomas Tuchel is Thomas Tuchel obviously he wants to see players because he keeps talking about in his press conference that he knows what players can do, certain players, and he wants just to see some players because after the game against Japan, that's it. No more time to impress, no
yeah,
more time to show what you can and can't do. Um, and then he picks his 26-man squad to go to the USA whenever he picks it. And at the end of the day, in this case, I've got to stand up for Jed Spence and say it's not his fault he was picked at left back because he could have quite easily been picked at right back because there was I can't remember who played right back for him because I didn't watch. I was playing football Friday night, but he could have been picked at right back. He was better than what England had in right back, but they played him left. Liveramento played, didn't he? Liveramento might have
yeah,
played right back, right? But that Hall from Newcastle was on the subs bench, and he's a natural left back. But Tuchel chose not to pick him. So, at the end of the day, I didn't see the game. I don't know whether he advanced his claims or not. Solanke supposedly did okay. Didn't get fed enough, but did okay, they said. So, at the end of the day, what will be will be. For me, though, and me on a personal level, we're struggling at Tottenham, right? And the 3 week break is either good or bad for us. And for me, the way that I look at it on a personal level is if we have players that are with their international teams at the moment, I would prefer them to get minutes for their international teams so they stay fitter. So when they come back to us, there's not that drop off because they haven't been training or haven't been playing matches. So the more you can pick our players, the more that they can play. Because remember, they come back. Is it next Wednesday they come back from internationals? But then we don't play
yeah.
next week because we're not in the FA Cup. So,
No,
it's better to try and get as much football into them now, right? So when they do come back to us, their fitness is upped a bit. I mean, someone like Paulinho, I think, needs game time, but Portugal don't tend to pick him in the first team. I'm hoping that Portugal do
no.
give him a chance to play and that he gets minutes. Bergvall came on as a sub for Sweden. So, that's helped him. Mickey van der Ven played the whole game for Holland at left back. So he's played a whole
Yeah,
90 minutes. Uh, I'm not sure. I've not kept up with many of the other players, but for me, my personal opinion is that if our players are out with international sides, I want them to play minutes so they can keep their fitness up. I don't want injuries. I don't want injuries, but I want them to keep their fitness up.
yeah.
Um,
And give Kudos a game versus the under 21s as well, because he's
or,
not going to be able to play. He needs to play a few games.
we're hoping that he's back for the next game, aren't we?
Yeah, he needs game time, doesn't he? I think a couple of games with the under 21s, he can get those under his belt. Then he will be much sharper when it comes to the third game. Because you need at least 3 or 4 games to get up to speed minimum. You know, and his game is very important to us because we haven't got nobody like him in the team. Even Porro, he's gone to pants, hasn't he? In terms of his crossing and his general play, he's been very poor this season. Whereas we've relied on his really good crosses. Not saying that he hasn't done any good crosses because he has, but he's been poor in general. So we
Yeah,
need someone like Kudos to get us forward. Hopefully, he won't be marked as heavily as before. Hopefully, they've forgotten all the teams.
yeah. So you got Graham Headworth here. Good morning, Graham. Yeah, it's still morning here. Sorry, but Spencer's no better than Livermore or Hall, so left back or right back is out. I'll take it on board. And Tommy's agreeing. Tommy says nowhere near Graham. So Tommy's agreeing. Um, Out of the right backs, Spence at the moment, the right backs that England have got with James being out injured at the moment, Spence is in the 26 because of his injury to James. James is available, then it could be a toss of a coin of whether Spence gets in.
Yeah,
But if he remains injured, then Spence has got a good chance of going at right back. I wouldn't take him as a
yeah.
left back, but then there's only one recognised left back that he's picking, and that's Hall, because he's not picking the boy from Man United, is he? He's not picking
But
Shaw.
isn't Livramento a left back? I'm sure he's a left back.
Livramento's the right back, and Hall's the
Is
left
he a
back.
right back?
Yeah, he's right back, Livramento. He's right foot, he's right back, and the left back is the
Oh, I thought.
young boy Hall that
Oh,
they
when I
because they
see
bought.
him play, I'll see him play on the left for
Yeah,
Newcastle. Maybe it's
because
just a
Hall.
few games.
Yeah, because Hall was out, so Livramento played
Yeah,
there. And
yeah,
they played
yeah. I
trips
see.
at
But
right
he
back.
is a natural right back. Okay. Well,
Here's
he's
the
a very
man.
good player.
Here's the man, the myth, the
There he
legend. It's the
comes.
Prez. It's the Prez. Good
I
morning,
always talk to
the
Philly Phil.
good morning, Phil. How are you, mate? I hope you're well. Says big up Jose. Unfortunately, Tottenham didn't buy another sided centre half to allow Van der Ven to play left back. Possibly square pegs in round holes.
There
Exactly
we
what we've
go.
been saying up until now, Phil. You're repeating exactly what we said. I don't know whether you've been watching us, mate, but this is what we've been saying. Um, and Tommy says, yeah, Liv's a right back. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so moving on. Sorry, game. We talked a bit about the game. Talked the selections were a bit miffed about some of the selections. Chang, we were saying at the start of the show, right? It says a long wait for our next move and our next game, and we were talking about that I don't know if you've seen some of my messages, but tongue in cheek, I've been saying in some of the groups. So is Poch still coming? I'm asking for a mate, and I keep saying this because the whole world was telling me that Pochettino was coming in the summer. If I listened to everyone, that is, the whole world was telling me Poch is coming back in the summer. Last week, it all pivoted to De Zerbi was coming back, and now this week, all of a sudden, I'm hearing it's all about Sean Dyche. So it's like which way the wind blows. Which way the wind blows is the way that people's thinking is. So I tongue in cheekily have asked the question. At the moment, Chang, Igor Tudor is the manager for Tottenham Hotspur. His father passed during the game last Sunday, and the funeral was on Thursday. That's as much as we know, and at the moment, he is our manager. Do you see a change? If so, when do you see the change happening? Or you don't see a change happening? Um, yeah, what are your thoughts, mate? What are your personal thoughts without following everybody in the Twitter space? Have your own opinion. What are your thoughts?
If you are talking about change, as in change halfway now, before the end of the season, for the last few remaining games that we have in the league, then I don't see any sort of change, because to change now would be very, very detrimental and a bit demoralizing almost for the players, for even our backroom staff, and to have to sort of get someone in now, especially since the matches will be coming thick and fast. I don't think we will even be able to implement any sort of a new sort of approach or strategy to our game in light of all these defeats that we've had. I really do hope that Igor Tudor himself is going to carry on and just get past his grief, because as much as I understand where he's coming from, when you lose a family member, one especially a parent in the form of his father, I think the only way forward realistically for us is to just bite the bullet, bear with him, and hope that he turns this around. Because to change to someone like a Sean Dyche or anyone else for that matter, is not what we are hoping for. Yes, the Forest game was a setback, and yes, the goal difference now is even greater than it was. But there were positives against Liverpool and also against Atletico Madrid, and I'm actually hoping for more of that rather than the losses we've picked up in his short time with us. And the only way to improve is to just keep on trying and not giving up. And I really do hope that's where Igor Tudor is with us. He's not giving up. And I would fully back him. I would fully support him. I would sing his name. I would give him all the encouragement. Now more than ever, with the passing of his own father. And if it were to come to a point where we do get someone else, I think another short-term manager just isn't an answer. Not when you know that we are going to have to get another manager in a couple of months' time to spearhead us into the next season, regardless if it's in the Premiership or in the Championship. I really do hope that we stick with Tudor for now if he's willing to stay, and all the best to him if he is going to be staying with us, because he's, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, he's going to need all the help and all the luck he can get from between now to the end of the season. So my final thoughts on this, Jose, I really hope we stick with Tudor, and to change now will be a bit, it will bring us more of a disadvantage than an advantage. Has to say that there are going to be more cons than pros from changing the manager at this point. Having said that, straight back to you, Senor Garcia.
Yeah, so there's a lot. Let me just read some stuff out, and then we'll go back to Ellie, see what Ellie's thoughts are as well. So Marianne says, couldn't believe Solanke was playing for England, so I had to take a peek. But there he was. Question from Drula, which I'll keep there, and we'll ask the question. I think we're answering it, Drula, but I'll ask anyway. The club will have to be very delicate if they want to get rid of Tudor. Will have to be by mutual consent, says Archer. And then you've got Graham says, sorry. Graham says, you know how bad the Spurs situation is, even if Deitch has turned the job down. And just a bit of housekeeping I'm doing is, can you all smash it and hit a like for the stream? It all helps. Keep your comments coming in and they will be read. Tell your mates to subscribe. You're all appreciated. And that comes from all of us. Ellie, we touched upon it
Yeah.
earlier. What are your thoughts on the
Just to
Tudor stuff again?
address Graham's point, like I said earlier, you might have missed it, Graham, that Sean Dyche was on Talk Sport and he said that he hasn't even been contacted. So he wouldn't have been able to turn down the job anyway, so it's all fake news. But in regards to Igor Tudor, the evidence is there why we shouldn't keep him. I respect how eloquently Chang put it, right? But I have to disagree, Chang, because the reason why is because you look at the evidence, right? Against Arsenal, 4-1. Not just the defeat, the manner of the defeat was atrocious. Then we lose 3 other games in the league, 1 point out of 15. Even against Liverpool, we were struggling, and it was probably Liverpool's downfall that we got the goal. It wasn't from our fantastic play, what I've seen from the highlights and what other people have said as well, because I do trust people to tell the truth about how we've played, right? Especially the ones I mix with, right? Because I know they're honest. All right. So I just feel he's made so many tactical errors, and the motivation of the players, once we get to half time, it's like we go dead after half time. We're even worse. So I just can't see a way where he's going to be the man to lead us to safety. And if you look at his record, people were saying that he saved clubs, but you look at his record and he's been really bad. I think he lost 5 out of his 8 games for Juventus, I believe. and he got fired. So I just don't see, tactically he's not astute. Yeah, and he's playing players out of position when he can play them in position, easily play them in position. Right, so I just don't think he's the man for the job, and I think we need somebody who maybe not doesn't even know the Premiership. I'm not on board with that, because there's many managers, sorry, that have come in that have not known the Premiership, and they've done very, very well. It doesn't have to be Pep Guardiola. There's other managers like Unai Emery, for example.
Can I just
He's done fantastic.
to further your point, Ellie? Sorry, I'm going to let you continue, but just to further your point,
Yeah,
exactly what you just said, I just want to say something to you, right?
yeah.
Right. Who's the manager of Arsenal?
Arteta,
Has he managed in the Premiership before he took over Arsenal?
no. He
Okay.
played in the Premiership, but he
Yeah.
hadn't managed.
Okay.
He was an assistant with Man City, wasn't he?
Okay.
With
Yeah.
Pep, but he
Before
hadn't managed. He was an assistant.
Man City is second place, who's their manager?
Pep Guardiola,
Had he managed in the Premiership before he took Man City over?
no,
Okay.
and not played in the Premiership at all.
Who's Liverpool's manager?
Arnie Slot,
Never did the Premiership.
no. That's what
Who's
I made the
Chelsea?
point.
Who's Chelsea's
Then you
manager?
go, Unai
I
Emery
can.
never managed. Well, he'd managed
No, he did.
Arsenal,
He
but
did.
he
He did.
hadn't managed before that in the
Yeah.
Premiership.
But then you got the Chelsea managers never managed in the Premiership. The Brentford
Yeah,
managers never managed in the Premiership. The Everton manager has. The Brighton and Hove Albion manager Hertzler has never managed
never.
in the Premiership.
I know.
Debris from Sunderland hasn't. The Newcastle manager had. The Bournemouth manager hadn't. Iriola, he came straight from
Iriola
Spain.
came to England, never managed.
The Palace manager came from Germany.
Glasner, yeah.
The Leeds United manager had managed in the Premiership. The Forest manager who's the Forest
There's
manager now?
so
Oh,
many.
he's managed in the Premiership. West Ham manager has previously managed in the Premiership. The Burnley manager, did he really manage? He had a team that came down and went back up. Went down
Scotty
and came back
Parker.
up, right? And the Wolverhampton manager, uh, he managed Southampton. Did he manage Southampton in the Premiership? No, he's not managed in the Premiership. The Wolves manager, Rob Edwards, never managed in the Premiership before.
No, no.
So
No,
what
he
you're
was at
saying,
Luton, wasn't he?
yeah. So
He was at Luton.
I wanted to stop you to further your point, but yeah, go on, carry on, Nelly. I just wanted to
Yeah,
further your
that's what
point
I
to
made
your
the
right.
point in the
Yeah,
chat. I made the point in the WhatsApp chats, and I listed all the managers like you just did, right? And it's not about that. It's about getting your tactics right. Motivation is a big part of management, right? Getting the players on board, right? And treating them fairly as well. Like I saw that he dropped Xavi for this game, right? And I was so angry that he dropped him because he didn't deserve to be dropped, right? And he done enough running in that game. This red zone, yellow zone, green zone, I don't care about that. I care about who can affect the game. Yeah, who can give you even 20, 30 minutes of Xavi, right? He can create one or two chances in that 20, 30 minutes that's going to open up defences and create a goal for us or create a goal opportunity. And it excites the fans and it gets the crowd buzzing. What happened against Forest? You'll back me up on this, Jose. The crowd went flat after that second goal went in. Even the first goal, it was like inevitability, wasn't it, that they were going to score from that corner. Then the second goal goes in, and the crowd, the fans, just empty. And then the third one, it was like a ghost town in there, right?
mm,
And we needed a spark from the start to raise expectations. And back, and that's where Tudor made fundamental errors, right? And I can't get on board with him. I just can't. And 1 in 15 points is terrible.
mm,
It's really bad. So I just think we need someone else who can come in. Doesn't have to be a Premiership manager. Doesn't have to be someone who knows the club. It needs to be someone who is tactically astute and is a good motivator and can get all these players in the right positions, playing to their strengths. That's all
yeah,
we need.
yeah. So you've got Kate is saying, and I'll bring Chang into Kate saying the board is incompetent and making the right choice of managers. Franklin Tudor. Revernight is saying to me, good morning, Revernight is saying to me, he's
Yay.
managed Luton. He's reminding me that he managed Luton. And Tommy, thank you, is reminding me that Rob Edwards managed Luton as well. So when Luton went down, Rob Edwards is manager. So, and the Bowling Lounge, good morning to you, mate. I hope you're well, mate. Says, what are your genuine options? Redknapp out of the game for 10 years. Sherwood, the same, and slagged them off for weeks. Dyche ain't coming for 7 games. So do you really want him on a 2-year deal? Or Poyet. And then he says, Iriola didn't win in his first 8 or 9 games. You ain't got time for a manager to bed in, which is my thought. Is what I've said. And Archer says it would help if we had a manager that plays players in their correct positions, and that has to be
Yes.
Paulinho, Gallagher, Xavi as a midfield 3. They're the 3 that I said earlier, Archer, that I'd like to see play.
Yes.
No square pegs in round
Play them
holes.
in their
Just
positions, what they're
play
best
people
at.
play people in their positions. Don't play a lopsided back line with right backs in left back positions. Pick someone who's left footed to play in the left back position. Listen, if you play people in their proper positions and we're not good enough, then we're not good enough. It's as simple as
Yeah.
that. We ain't good enough. But if you try shoehorning like we're doing at the moment, and like I said, we're not medics, so we don't know about these red, greens, and amber zones. You know, they get all the information from the contraptions that they wear on their backs in training, in the matches, and whatever. But at the end of the day, I think the fan base all wants, without being privy to all this information, the fan base just wants us to play people in their proper positions to give us a fighting chance of gaining some points, because it's a dogfight. It really is a dogfight. There are 4 teams down there at the moment that are fighting. Leeds have been dragged back in. Leeds have now been dragged back in. So it's Leeds, Forest, West Ham, and ourselves. 4 teams, and it's going to be a dogfight from now to
Yeah.
the end of the season. And it's those that can cope best. And there's no surprise that teams like West Ham and Forest have picked up points recently, because even West Ham, the Bowling Lads, you're still here, you'll probably attest to this. Even with West Ham, I think we're accusing the manager of playing the round pegs in square hole systems. And they were saying, all you got to do is, I know I've been on West Ham channels where they're saying, just play players in their proper position. Well, he started doing that now, and they've picked up points. There's no coincidence. Play proper players in their strongest position. You know, you've got to have the want and desire as well, though, Ellie and Chang, haven't you? You've got to
Yeah.
want to win as well, haven't you? So for me, and I've said this for a few weeks now, and I'll repeat it again for those that haven't heard me. When we're talking about managers, right, and changing managers and that, I really and Ali, I do partly agree with what you say, but for me, at this moment in time, with 7 games to go, it doesn't matter to me who the manager is. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter. Whoever the manager is, just play players in your right position. Because at the end of the day, who are you going to get in as a manager? No manager wants to come in and firefight for 7 games. It's proven that if you offer someone, I don't know, a big package to come and save you from relegation, right? So you offer them a wage and you offer them a big bonus, I don't know, you offer them £20 million to keep you up, and it sounds like a lot of money, but that compared to the money if you go down and get relegated, 20 is nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. Who's going to come in their right mind, come in and want to do the job for 7 weeks? Players want at least the 7 weeks and another season, right? And that's why people are reluctant to sign. I think it's too late in the day. If you're going to bring a manager in, I think it's late in the day to try and get someone in to do the firefighting for you, because I don't think
Yeah, but
managers are going to come in with it unless they've got a longer contract.
Jose, I've got to disagree again. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but the
That's
thing
not
is,
rude.
you're
You've got your
saying,
opinion.
you're saying, just play players in their right positions, but he's not. He's not playing players and he's done it all through. It's not as if he's done it for one game and he's experimented, but he's done it for every single game. So what makes you think that he's going to change in the next 7 games?
No,
I
no,
can't
no,
trust.
no.
I can't. There's no trust with me
Okay.
with him. There's no
No,
trust there.
I'm
He's
agreeing with
broken the
you.
trust because not only that, he's making tactical errors and also he's making he's not making, he's not playing Xavi, who's our only creative player who can create things for us. And I'll take you back to the Man City game before he even came and Thomas Frank was our manager, right? We're in that second half against Manchester City. Xavi showed that he's got all the tools against the top side. I must say, there are top side still, Man City, regardless of what people say that they're not as good as before. They're still a top passing team, and he held his own and more, and he got us back into that game. It wasn't Conor Gallagher's cross. Yes, it was a fantastic cross, and Solanke scored the scorpion goal. Yeah, but it was Xavi's energy and his spirit and his heart and his desire and his skill that got us back into that game, because it rose all the players around him, right? And now this manager has decided not to play him after he had a fantastic game. I can't get on board with it. I just can't get on board with it, because it's doing the complete opposite. I always believe when a player deserves to play, he deserves to play. Yeah, he should be put in. And I was so angry that he didn't play him. And not only that, like I said, other things that he's done that I can't get on board with. And that's
Yeah,
we've lost 4 out of the 5 games.
yeah, but I'm agreeing with you, Ellie, in the sense of, right, it's down to the players. It doesn't matter who your manager is, it's down to the players. But to give us a fighting chance, I said the players have got to play in their correct positions. So
Yeah,
I'm
and he's
agreeing
not
with you.
doing it.
So, yeah, but I've not disagreed with you. I'm agreeing with you, saying to give us a
What
fighting
makes you
chance.
think he's going to do it? What makes you think he's going to play the players in their right position
Like,
if he hasn't even done it over 7 matches, not 5?
so
He's done
like I
it in
said,
7 matches.
with the Paulinho and Gallagher situation, right? One was coming. They were both coming back from injuries. One was concussion. The other player was coming back from illnesses or whatever. And I don't know whether that's the reason why they weren't played in the last game. But I would like to see them, as we said, and we've agreeing. And I think Archer said it as well. We'd like to see the Paulinho, Gallagher, Xavi as a three. Like to see them play rather than the players that we've seen at the moment. We'd like to see them as a three play. But for me, it doesn't matter who the manager is. The players are the ones that are going to get us out of this. If the players have got the fight, it's the players that they're going to get us out of this. But to give us that fighting chance as well, we've got to select players in their proper positions. So we
Yeah.
are on the same page. We're not disagreeing. We're coming at it different ways, but we are agreeing on this. Um, I've got a question from the Bowling Lounge, which I'll ask you both in a second. Archer said, agreed, Ellie. Tudor's arguably a bad manager, if not worse than Christian Gross. Drula says, um, what we can't use that comparison about the coaches you mentioned not managing the Premier before. They've been given time. With Tudor, there is no time. I get that we need a Premiership manager. And Matt James is here. Good morning to you, Matt. It's just morning over here in England. 2 minutes to go. Says, as a Leeds fan, I can't believe Spurs are looking worse than us. Sorry to say, Matt, it's the thing is, the truth doesn't lie, Matt, and people can see the evidence for their own eyes. Question Chang for you, and then for Ellie from the Bowling Lounge says, if you had kept Frank, would you be better off than under Tudor?
Um, do you want to take that, Chang,
Yeah,
first?
Chang. Oh,
Okay,
go on, Chang.
I'll say I think that we will be more or less where we are currently. I wouldn't say that Thomas Frank is better, or neither is he worse off than Tudor. I think they're pretty much on equal ground. And the only bonus is that with Thomas Frank, at least he knows his players. But for the sake of just getting some new ideas in, because Thomas Frank hasn't actually given us any sort of indication that he would change his ways to improve us in at any given time, which is why I think that his time was up even before he was sacked. So I think this is a tricky one to have to answer, but for the sake of just choosing one or the other, I would say that Tudor would be a better fit, and Tudor would be the manager that would come in to see out the season. But I mean, right now it's all ifs and buts, as what Miss Kate Boxer would say. It's all ifs and buts now, and I think this is purely hypothetical. But if you were to give me an answer, if I were to give an answer, yeah, I would say that Tudor would be better off now to see us out through the end of the season compared to Thomas Frank. Having said that, over to you, Queen Ellie.
Yeah. So I really appreciate your thoughts there, but we've got to look at the evidence as well. It's a matter of preference. I'm not against you, Chang. That's your preference, right? But if we look at the evidence on who's got the most points, we have to look at the 5 games previous to the 5 games that Tudor has managed. And I think it was on Saba's show, he showed that we got 1.1 point out of Frank, and we've got 0 point something. I can't remember the figure, but it was a lot worse than Frank. So on that basis, I would go for Frank. I would have kept Frank because, first of all, his stability. Second of all, he's got a better record over the last 5 games compared to Tudor, because we did pick up a few more points. But overall, I think he's tactically more astute as well. Um, the thing is, injuries have plighted both managers. Like Tudor's come into a shit show, really, and I can't blame him for certain things with players' attitudes and things, and but I can blame him for not getting the points on the board, because he's actually been brought in to get more points on the board, and he's actually done worse than Frank in that respect. So on that basis, I have to go with Frank, even though I think he didn't do particularly well. I think the evidence shows that he does get more points on the board. So on that basis, like I said, I'd have to go with Frank.
And my opinion on this is that tactically, they both inept. Tactically, they're both inept. Um, with watching Tudor, even though we've lost, we haven't won a game with him yet, and we've drawn one, and we beat Atletico Madrid, and we've lost the other 4 league games. We've actually scored goals, and we've actually, even though we've lost the games, we look like scoring a goal at least in each game, or we look at it and we scored it or whatever. Under Frank, when I've been to the stadium, there's games that I've been to watch, and we never looked like scoring. When we got beat, Chelsea beat us 1-0. Chelsea didn't get out of second gear. We created absolutely nothing against Chelsea. No creation. Bournemouth beat us 1-0. Next to no creation. Watched us draw 1-1 with Sunderland. Next to no creation. We had a really good first half, but not creating goals, but we had the possession and stuff like that. And then Sunderland scored an equaliser in the second half, And it was a story of Thomas Frank. It just seemed to be the tactics that he used were defensive first tactics all the time. So
Mm.
Thomas Frank would not suit us, and didn't suit us the way that we want football to be played and stuff like that. But equally, if I look at Tudor, although Tudor's not defensively minded as Frank and doesn't defensively set up like Frank does, you still are wary about the tactics he uses as well. And some of it is tactics and some of it's just players. And I don't think the players were behind Frank. I don't think the players are behind Tudor. So for me, I'd say for different reasons, they're equally as bad as each other. But Ellie, there's a bigger sample size, like she says, on Thomas Frank. And Thomas Frank was here for a longer period of time and therefore picked up more points than Tudor. Tudor was never going to match the points that Frank picked up in 1/3 of the games that Frank was here for. But I just think they're both equally as bad as each other. Um, since we said that, we've had a few people come in. So, um,
Nice.
Kate says the board are wet behind the ears. Frank should have gone earlier and should have never got Tudor. Board incompetent again. David Clark, good afternoon, David. It's midday, so I can say that now. Good afternoon, David. First and foremost, I hope you're well. I hope the knee's well, and I hope health-wise that you're well, mate. Nice to see you. Says any Spurs fans who think any coach can get a tune out of these half-wit characters, players, they are truly deluded. They have had a coach who, as front foot attacking coach, and at least 2 defensive ones. The Bowling Lounge says, "Wow, I'm surprised at Mr. Chang's answer. Personally, I think Frank would have served you better than what Tudor has done.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm also surprised Frank didn't actually do a better job for you overall." Kate says, "Frank, the players were not fit enough." And David Clark says, "It's not the worst. It's not worse than Frank. Tudor had to play Liverpool and Arsenal. Frank lost to worse teams." Nita says that Poye said the other day if he'd got the job, the first person he would go to is Romero to ask him what's up. They speak the same language, Spanish fireworks.
Yeah.
The beast of says hi Tel and hi Chang. Good morning to the beast of. Drula says, let's be real here. It's not the coaches, it's the players. They've down tools, so whoever we get in would make down tools. So whoever we get in, it would make a difference. Beastov says Tudor tactically is not good for Spurs. Rob is here. He's already said hello to Chang, and then he says hi, Jose, and the young lady.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to you, Rob. I hope you're well. I'm just asking some people, please. Got some nice numbers here watching at the moment. I really, really do appreciate you on a Sunday morning. It's probably because your clocks haven't worked properly that you've joined us. If you was on the real time, you might have just watched something else. So I'm going to blame the clocks for having a good turnout. And of course, Ellie's promoting. But yeah, can you smash a like for the stream, please, people? It does really help. And keep your comments coming in, and they will be read. I am reading all the comments. And tell your mates and subscribe, and that you all are appreciated. Sunny says, you lot all right, and the chat. These 3 weeks feel like 3 months, right? And Coy's son for
Like
player
that.
manager as front, even get De Zerbi as his own number 2. Why don't we? Why do we not miss a trip for a change? Good after you, Sonny. Beastov says
All right, Sonny.
Frank has Prem League experience though, Tell, so he would be better equipped. However, both are not good for Spurs. David Clark says, I wouldn't employ Mason as our first team coach driver, let alone the first team coach. And Kate simply says,
Yes.
Ellie for manager.
I'll take the job, and I'll demand that they pay me the same wage as well. Yet alone being a woman, you know, I'll take the job. Do you know what? I just wanted to kick back on what you said as well, Jose, because you said that we're scoring goals under Tudor. I've just tallied it up. We've only scored 4 goals in 5 games.
Yeah, but the one no, but I
We're
was trying to
not. We're
say
not
no, but
scoring goals.
no, what I was trying to say is that we've scored goals, or we look like we've got the intent to want to score goals.
Yeah, we.
Where with
Yeah,
Thomas Frank, I didn't think we showed the intent. With Thomas Frank, I felt we were too defensive. And there's
yeah.
games that
I
I've been
do
to.
get that point. I do
That's
get
what
that point.
and that's what I was
But
trying to
the
say.
thing
There's
is, at
games
the
that
end
I've
of the
been at.
day, yeah, I agree with you. But at the end of the day, is if you look at the stats, right? We've only scored 4 goals and conceded 13 in his first 5 games, because we conceded 1 against Liverpool, 4 against Arsenal, 3 against Palace, 2 against Fulham, and 3 against Forest. So that's 13 goals conceded. So with Frank, there's pluses and minuses in both managers, but the minuses on on Tudor far outweigh the minuses with Frank. Even though you say, I do agree with you, it didn't look like we were going to score, but there were matches where he did play on the front foot, but it was forced that we
Mm,
had to play on the front foot because we were behind. Yeah, like the Brighton game when we went 2-0 down, we were forced to go out for it, weren't we? Like the Man City game, we were 2-0 down, we were forced to go for the game. Yeah, it wasn't like he made the players suddenly become brilliant going forward. Because going forward, we're better at. We're better at. It's just we haven't got enough finishers, good finishers in the team.
Yeah.
We're really poor up front, aren't we? We just haven't got the players who are putting the ball in the net.
My dog agreed with you there, Ellie. Um,
Yeah, it's true. Play your dog up front. He can do a
yeah.
few headers. Boof.
Ravindu, good afternoon. Ravindu says our players must give 110% for us to survive next season. We don't need accountants to manage our club. Sell part-time players and then start the build-up. Beastov says, "Careful, Chang, what you pull out of your bag." And David says, "Spurs ladies coach has had a rude awakening. Hoping toe to toe with the best two teams in the league, yet you get smashed 5-2 in both games."
Yeah,
Martin
I
Ho,
agree
that
with
is.
him. But
Um,
I don't even think we went toe to toe with Arsenal. We were laying back, right? We first 3 or 4 minutes, yeah, but then they went back to defending most because Arsenal are a superior team. We can't get over that. That's fact. They are a better team than us, but we're growing, but we're not growing enough to keep up with them. But I think they're fifth in the WSL, the Spurs women. So they're not doing too bad. There's 29 points, and the next team's got 20 points. So there's a bit of a gap. But to push up to that top three, not there yet.
so I'm just going to say, I'm going to throw my two pennies worth before we move on about the ladies. I saw the first two goals going. I won't say I was watching, but I saw the first two goals going. And the thing that struck me on both goals, and just after the second goal, I think I watched a couple of minutes after the second goal. The thing that struck me the most was the Tottenham player wearing 24. Absolutely looked
Mm,
like the most laziest player in the world. Didn't mark, didn't do nothing whatsoever. Let players
poor.
go past her and that. So number 24 looked abysmal and looked like, no disrespect to the number 24 for Tottenham, but she looked like she was playing on a Sunday in the park after being out on the piss the night before. You know, you used to get the Sunday piss up league. That's what she looked
I
like, the number
don't know. I
24.
can't remember who played 24.
I know
I'd have
number
to look that one
24.
up.
Her
Drula,
her
I'll say
surname
to
is
my niece,
Spence.
Drula, who played 24 so we
No,
can
number
slate her.
24. Her surname is Spence. The number 24.
Oh, yeah, Drew Spence.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's number 24 for
She's
Tottenham.
she's just like Jed Spence. She just shows lack of energy. But when she's on it, she's on it. That
On it.
she
Okay.
blows hot and cold just like Jed Spence.
She
I
was on it
think it's in the
yesterday.
name.
She was pissed because she looked like a Sandy Parks player who's been out the night before.
Yeah,
All I just kept seeing, was the game was bypassing her. She weren't marking, she weren't doing anything.
yeah.
And when the goals went
She's
in, she
got a bit
sort of went,
older.
she sort of like went like that. When the goals went in, she was just sort of like putting her hands up in the air and just say, "Who? What happened?" I just thought to myself,
Yeah.
she might have
We,
even been on the fairy dust. I don't know, but she didn't look right
no.
anyway.
Drew Spence, she used to play for Chelsea, right? And she was a very, very top player for Chelsea. And we bought her in the latter stages of her age and her career. And you can tell she slowed down so much. And I think it was time last year to move her on, but we kept her. So she must be popular in the club. That's the only thing I can think of that she stayed because she has slowed down so much. It's not because she doesn't want to do it. I think she just hasn't got the legs.
Right.
She just hasn't got the legs.
Well,
Jula
like I
will
said,
back me up on that.
yeah, like I said, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she reminded me of someone that had been out on the lash the night before and was turning up to play Sunday League football
Yeah,
from being
it
out on the
looks
piss
like
with her
that, but
mates on a Saturday night.
it looks like that, Jose. But she's got older. Her legs are tired. She can't do it. She just can't do it.
Yeah, so you've got Sonny saying, "I'd do it for free, lol. The players are right away right now. The majority, so sacking Tudor before now may not have made much of a difference, but I don't think you should get another game now," says Sonny. Beastov says,
Mm,
"I still believe Tim Sherwood would get these players up for it." Sonny was
mm.
saying that Drew Spence was on the 4-2-0 lol. She turns up when she wants, says Drula, so she's a bit like the namesake
Yeah,
from the male team. David saying, you put Sumanen on the bench, who Spurs DM. We are playing a striker in midfield. Our fullbacks
Yeah.
are woeful. They allow our opponents the outside every time, and our centre backs are not physical enough. What's that? The Japanese player didn't look that great either. That Kota, she didn't look that great
No.
either for the start of the
She's
game that
just
I
won a
watched.
tournament in Japan. Both of our
Yeah,
Japanese players have won. They come back and they play like pants for the Spurs ladies. They were playing really well for the Japanese national team.
do you think there's
Yeah.
something in the water at the stadium or at the training ground? There must be something in the water then, because the men seem to be like that as well.
Somebody posted me an exorcist thing the other day, and I had to laugh. We need somebody to do. It's like we're cursed, you know. The whole club is cursed. We keep on losing. Even the women have started losing now.
Aye, aye, aye. Right,
It's
so
so
you've got
bad.
it says I ain't bothered about them arse up the road. We're a real mess, no lie. Gum runners not required, gooners. Sonny says just like the men then. Paige says I watched the North London derby yesterday. The commentator wondered why the coach left Beth England on the bench for so long. David Clark saying Spence has a fantastic ability, but she used in too defensive role. Her passing is second to none, but lacks stamina. And
Yeah, that's
the
it. Because she's got older, she does lack stamina.
bowling lounge says maybe it's in the lasagna. I reckon it's in the water, mate. But there we go. I don't know who the chefs are at Tottenham. Drula says that was me, Auntie Ellie. I sent it to you. I said to you that we need a priest. So she sent
That's
you the
it.
exorcist.
And then I sent it on to Stel and said we need a because in Greek priest is a baba. So I sent it to Stel, made him laugh as well.
So
My
so
niece is
basically,
brilliant at sending those little memes.
I dread to think what she'd send about me. Bloody hell. Um,
No, she loves you, Jose. Don't you
isn't
worry.
that
She
sweet? I love
loves
her
you.
too. Right, I was going to say to you. So basically, we are where we are. Chang, I don't know. I'm not going to I'll let you explain to everyone. Are you much of a cesspit fan, i.e. X and that? Because according to all the cesspit followers at the moment, they reckon that a change is going to be made at Tottenham tomorrow. If you believe that Poch was coming in the summer, and if you believe that De Zerbi was coming until last week, if you believe Sean Dyche was coming in until Friday, now they're saying that there will be a change made tomorrow. Do you think Tottenham will make a change tomorrow? Do you think they're going to stick with Tudor?
I think we'll stick with Tudor, but again, I can't say, I can't tell what Tudor's decision is going to be. I honestly think that the decision now actually rests with Tudor more so than our board, more so than the directors. So if it is Tudor's decision to take some time off to grieve, to be with his family after the passing of his father, I will fully agree with that decision, and that another quick decision has to be made sooner now rather than later if we are going to have another managerial change. But if it was solely down to the board and their decision, and that Tudor himself is keen on staying, I think we should stick with Tudor. That is what I'm going to guess is going to be happening for the foreseeable future. Back to you, Sino Garcia.
Without breaking any confidences and whatever, Chang, right?
Yep.
Do you follow the cesspit? Do you go on X at all?
No, not at all. I stay
Oh, you
well
don't
clear of
do it
that.
at all. Okay, fair enough. I was going to say because there are some people that you know everyone probably does go on X from time to time, but there are some people that you follow more than others, and you might think to yourself, "Well, I follow that person. And they're often right in what they say." So I was just wondering if if you did follow anyone in particular, what were they saying at the moment, without saying who you follow? What were they saying at the moment? But if you don't do it, then you don't do it. Uh, Ellie, I'm going to come to you, but before I do, David Clark
Yeah.
says our Japanese centre back is only 19 years old, so she needs time, but her fellow centre back doesn't help her.
Mm.
And Sonny, thank you for your comments. Sonny says, I love your guys' dedication and thank you for all these shows. This is better than telly for me. Like interactive telly. Don't forget to like the stream, you guys. Thank you very much, Sonny J. David Clark says, I would make Chris Houghton our first team coach, Chris Hughton, our first team coach tomorrow. The Bowling Lounge says, wow, Chrissy Houghton, that might make an interesting reunion with Kudos. says the bowling
Mm.
lounge. Ellie, you,
Mm.
Ellie, you're everywhere. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but you spread yourself everywhere. You're like a
I
nice
do.
butter. You spread. You're like a nice
Because I'm a
calamari.
Spurs fanatic.
You're like a nice Kalamata olive oil. You spread yourself everywhere. Um,
Yeah.
what are your? Is anything going to happen tomorrow, Ellie? Or is it? What do you think? What you follow, what you hear, or your own thoughts? Is anything happening tomorrow? Like the cesspit says. Cesspit says Monday's the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there will be a decision made tomorrow. And I do think they're going to part ways with Tudor. Because they're feeling the heat now. There's 7 games to go. They've seen what he can do. They've had plenty of evidence. We've lost 6 and won 1. Sorry, we've lost 5, drawn 1, and lost and won 1. Sorry,
Yeah,
but not in the league. So I think they've seen enough evidence, and they're started to squeaky bum time, isn't it? Because this is big money now, right? And they have to make a decision to protect their money, really, because that's what they're all about. They told us when they first came they're all about the money, so that's what they care about. And I think there will be a decision in respect that I think they're going to part ways with Tudor, right? In regards to what you were talking about with Chang about Twitter, um, some of it, well, a lot of it is cesspit, not just some of it, but there's some really good people on there as well. And the good people are sensible when they give their opinions about what's happening at Spurs, and they're very honest. And there's a lot of Enoch outers on there as well, which I align with because I'm Enoch out. And I think there's a lot of honesty as well. It's not just all cesspit, it's people talking from their hearts and how they love the club. And there's lots of videos, especially with me, right? I try to stick to promoting our club in a positive manner because I want better for our club. All right. And I can't see Enoch being good for our club because we've had 25 years of them being in charge, and we've not really progressed like I would want us to progress. Okay, we've had seasons where we've been very, very good, and we've made European competitions. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of progressing us when we've been on the high, or progressing us when we've been on the low as well, like to push us further up and make us a better club, more competitive. Yeah. So they've let us down in a lot of ways, but I tend to post a lot of things that are positive about the club as well. Like I like to reminisce as well, because as a Spurs fan, we've got a lot of good history. Yeah, and we've had a lot of fantastic footballers. Even under Enoch, we've had fantastic footballers, and I'll big them up. I'll big them up. But what I find is there's not a lot to big up from our current team, but there's a little bit. There's a little bit here and there, but there's not enough. So I try to stay positive within my own heart and soul for our club by posting a lot of good stuff about our club. And our fabulous history. Yes, we haven't won the league as much as Arsenal or Liverpool or Manchester United, but we've created history in terms of being pioneers, winning the first European trophy in England, sorry, and Britain. Um, so I don't know. I look at Twitter as somewhere where you can be positive, and I try to block out the negativity, you know, because otherwise it does you in.
Mm. So to me, do you know what the most Spurs thing is? Tomorrow, if people are saying that there's a
Losing.
no, well, no, apart from that, if people are saying that tomorrow, if all the people that are in the know were right about Pochettino coming back, and then we're right about De Zerbi's coming, and then we're right about Sean Dyche, tomorrow, Tottenham may well make a decision. It could be the home kit for next year. It could be they're partnering up and selling another drink. It could be they're partnering up and they've gone into farm animals. It could be
Mm.
anything other than a manager. Doesn't surprise you with Tottenham. Tottenham make announcements all the time, don't they? And it's not the
Yeah.
announcements that you want to hear. Or they might announce, I don't know, they might announce that AC/DC are coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and they're going to play a gig, the one last gig. You know, you'll hear something that you don't want to hear. So there probably may be some news tomorrow, but it may not be about a manager. um, we have right. I'm just going to cheekily plug this again, and then I'm going to move on to saying hello to a few more people. Right, we've done really well today, right? But if we can hit another 10 more likes, I will reach 50 for the first time in a long time.
Come on.
So
Let's
if you
reach
can
50, guys.
if I can get 10 more likes, we will hit 50 for the show, which is absolutely brilliant for a Sunday for us. It's been a while since we've done that. Paul Van Beek is here. Good afternoon, Paul says. I'm not on X, only YouTube for me. Big up, guys. I'd give it to
Yeah.
Sherwood and Defoe if Tudor decides to leave. Drula says these players don't need tactics. They need to go back to basics, and they just need an arm around them. David Clark says, "Yeah, look, tomorrow a new director of football will be employed to pair up with Lang." So that's the news tomorrow. David says it will be actually a new director of football. Um, Archer says, I really don't like the dual director of football model. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Good morning, good afternoon, Adam. I love this name. Adam Paul Galiska says, morning all,
Mm.
hope everyone is well. Good afternoon to you, Adam, unless you're in
Good
the part of the
afternoon.
world where it's still the morning, but I thought you was here in England, Adam. But yeah, good afternoon to you, mate. Sonny says, I want Hoddle involved for the last 7 games, even upstairs. Um, the Bowling Lounge says, I defo don't get the two DOFs. Surely they're competing with each other to get their own choices in. None of us agree with it, the two directors of football bowling, because one was doing kids and one was doing adults, and to get them both to agree, no one has a model like Tottenham. It's where they have got absolutely no idea. Someone has said, "Oh, it'd be a good idea we put two of them in," but I don't know what half-baked idea and who it's come from. But that's probably how they speak when they're doing it in the boardroom. "Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great if we brought two in." Um, so you don't know. With our club, the way it's run, it could be absolutely any of them spoons that have done it. So,
You know
um,
what they'll
and
do, Jose? If they do bring two people in, sorry, they'll split the wage. They won't pay one more than the other. They'll split it so they save money.
yeah, but that's why people stay away because of the crazy arse decisions that this club makes. That's why people
Yeah,
stay away. And
yeah,
what you pick up, and I don't mean to be derogatory to everyone because they're professionals in what they do, but we pick up the dredges. We pick up the dredges because because of our half-arse baked systems that we've got. We pick up dredges. We don't pick up the best of the best because if you were to pick up the best of the best, you'd be like other clubs. You'd have one DOF and he'd be the master of it all. And that's why
yeah,
clubs have all got one DOF, and people want to go and work for clubs. People get poached by other clubs, they poach DOFs because they're going to be the master of it all. At Tottenham is we've got a great idea. What we'll do is we'll share the soup, we'll share the starter, we'll share the dessert, we'll share the main course, and it gets us absolutely nowhere. Kate is on fire again. Look, Enoch, please sell the club. Bordering competent of signings with Lang. When in crisis, Lang and Vinny out. It's a disaster what they have done to our club. Nita says a shocker minute. A shocker minute with Spurs. They don't know what they are doing. Unbelievably not. We need to stay in the Premiership no matter what. We just need Enoch out no matter how long it takes. Tottenham till we
till I
die.
die.
Yeah, till we die.
Till we die, yeah.
David Clark says since Poch was sacked, Spurs have purchased 51 players. I would say that 75% of them have been total failures. That's why we are in the position to get relegated. Sonny is saying, I don't go on other stuff, only this. This I think we was talking about when we were talking about the cesspit. Drula says
Yeah,
the silence is deafening. Um, Adam says they will announce that Lang has committed his future to the club. People are, what I can't understand, before I carry on, what I can't understand, Ellie and Chang, is I've been led to believe, and I haven't checked this up, so I should fact check it before I really say it, but I've been led to believe that Langer's contract is up in October. If
yeah.
you're not looking to renew his contract, then if you're searching for a Doff now, surely you're saying to that Doff, you're going to be the man. We're going to
You
a
think
single
that?
Doff. You're going to be the man. Or if you had big cojones, you'd say to Langer, off your pop. You won't see out your contract. We'll pay you the remainder. Because what from the end of the season to October, what is it? 5 months. So from May till October is 5 months. Say off your pop. We'll pay you your last 5 months off. Off your pop. We're bringing in one DOF, and then we
I,
become normal like any other club. We just don't. We don't need Langer there. Off
no,
your pop. Go.
but we don't. But they love him because he's like a puppet. Like I said, they'll wheel him out to wield their lies. Especially the January window where he told a load of BS, and he's just saying exactly what they've told him to say. It's like scripted. From
Yeah.
the previous January window, you could play them both those videos together, and they're nearly identical. And the questions the guy, he works for the club. I don't know his name, but he's a young lad, exactly the same, more or less. So it's just for them he's a good guy because he's doing what they exactly want him to do, and that's just to be their puppet and wield their lies. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
So
They're not going
Kate.
to be able to. They're not. They can manipulate him, right? But
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
another DOF, they're not sure. Yeah.
Mm.
They're not sure whether they can manipulate him because they won't know his character in full. Because you know, when people go to job interviews, they lie as well. They do.
I've interviewed so many people. I think
Yeah.
in my lifetime, I've probably interviewed about 15 to 20,000 individuals for roles in over 30 years. And yeah, it's when you look at CVs and you look at application forms and you meet people for interviews and that, yeah, you have to root out a lot of evil before it comes to your door. That's all
I
I can say.
know. I've done the
Um,
same, Jose. I'm with you.
Kate says that she's already done her like. Thank you very much, Kate. Paige says, hit the likes, peeps. It doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah.
And Adam,
On that, right? How you get the likes up is you share the link. So what you do, you click on the little sort of arrow that goes right to the right. You click it, copy the link, and then send it to your friends and say, please like Jose. It's all free. Just say to them, it's all free, not paying anything. Just click the like.
Adam says, hit the likes, get those numbers up. I'm currently looking, and I think we've gone up to 44, so I'm 6 short.
Come on.
No, 45 we've gone to, so we're 5 short of hitting that 50 mark. David Clark says, my Washington Commanders are coming to White Hart Lane in October. Are you going to watch them, David? If because I know you follow the Washington Commanders, are you going to go and watch? You going to go to the stadium and see them? Sonny says, I reckon with Levy, Enoch took the club as far as they can. I actually reckon Levy knew this, as this was why he was looking for more investment. Good morning, sorry, good afternoon, Dan. Dan Davenport. How are you, Dan? I
Mm.
hope you're well. Says, I think Kieran McKenna would be an ideal head coach for us. What do you think, Jose? Guests in chat. Dan, I've said all along, for me, I just think it's too late in the day to change someone for 7 games. And you've got to make a decision as the club. Do you want someone in for 7 games to firefight, or and then go for someone in the summer on a contract to manage you? But there's more problems at the club other than manager. You've got to get the right director of football in. Everything starts with the director of football. He sets the scene, he sets the tone. And with Langer, he doesn't set Jack. and therefore it doesn't matter who you bring in. If you're working with Langer, you're not going to get nowhere. In my eyes, that's my opinion on it, Dan. Sonny says now they should sell up if we stay up. Kate says Lang out. Wet lettuce needs to F off. Don't hold back, Kate. Don't hold back. Adam says, now I'm in England, Bedford. I just didn't realise the time. Sonny says, clocks went forwards. So what? So I said to you, people have tuned in today because their clocks are wrong. You've got Drew says, bring back Alan Sugar just to say to them all, you're fired.
You're
Kate,
fired.
yeah, Kate's come back in with Lang, the master of nothing. Get him out. Wet lettuce out, out, out. Paul Van Beek's come back and says, you have a doff and he employs a youth team scout and everything he needs to run the club. Sonny says, doff, 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 like EastEnders. David David Clark, yeah, doff, 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 doff. David Clark says
Doof, doof,
Langer was
doof,
only
doof.
employed for the same reason Hitchin was set on, because they are both close friends of Daniel Levy. Drula says reports from February 2026, Vinay reportedly gave Johan Lang a pay rise, increasing his salary from 300,000 to
Oh my god.
576 per year plus bonuses. Do you know what? I'd like
Oh
to be
my god.
absolutely awful at my role, right? And for people to give me double my salary to be awful at my role. I'd love it. I think we'd all love it. We'd
Yeah.
all
What
we'd
I
all
would
be
do, I'd go in front of Vinay and I'd say, what a waste of money.
we'd all be friends for our life for life with our paymasters if we were allowed to do a poor job or half a job and get paid double the bunts for it. We'd love
Yeah.
our paymasters.
Jose, picking up on what Drula said about firing players, who was out of all our players, right? For you two guys, who and the chat, who would you fire first? Who would you point the finger at to get out of the club in terms of our players? Because I know who I would point it at.
Okay, me, you're asking
Who
me the
would you
question?
fire?
First and foremost,
Yeah.
Guillermo Vicario always has been. We should never have signed him in the first place. When we were sold a lie, when we went for David Raya and we wouldn't pay the money for David Raya, and then we said, oh, we've got away with one there. We've signed someone for half the price, and he's got the same ball control skills. Blah blah blah. Come on, wake up, will you? It was all a fucking lie because Raya is a Premiership goalkeeper, was a Premiership goalkeeper. You're bringing someone you've never seen play football, but because you don't do your own homework, you believe we're getting a player who's much better than Raya for half the price. He's been shockingly bad. For me, I would say, you're asking me, for me, it's Vicario all day long.
Okay. And how about you, Chang?
For me, it will be Bisuma. I think he should have been gone a long time ago, even after the first balloons incident. He should have been there. He should have been there for the Super Cup, because if we had him, he would have made the difference towards the end when we were leading by 2-0. And then when the second incident happened, he should have gone there and then. After 2 nitrous balloons incidents and he's still here, I have absolutely nothing to say on this matter other than if you were down to me, he would be the first one to walk. Back to you, Queen Ellie.
Okay. Right. So I wholeheartedly agree with Chang for his reasons. It's a toss between Vicario and Basuma, right? So, but I'm going to side with Chang. The reason why, because I think Vicario has had some good games. He's had some bad games, but he has had some really good games, especially against Monaco away. He played fantastic in that game. He made some brilliant saves. And I think with Vicario, he's a very instinctive goalie and he just can't help his kicking. He's just rubbish at it. He's never going to improve. Even if you practice, he can slightly get better, but he's just got 2 left feet. You know, when he receives the ball, right, it's like his brain is going slower than his feet, right? Because he sort of juggles his feet about, and you think, kick it, right? You panic every time he gets the ball at the back. But in terms of his saves, he has saved us a few games this season. So I'm going to go for Bazuma because not just because of the Baluma incident, it's just his general attitude and his. When I see him, he's always mucking about, and I don't mind players having fun, right? But it's a bit OTT a lot of the time, and it's a bit out of the stratosphere with the way he behaves, and I just don't think he's professional. And like when Brighton let him go for 25 mil, that was quite suspect, right? He had all that hullabaloo surrounding him, and then he was cleared. I don't know all the ins and outs of it because I'm not interested in that part. But what I would say is he's a very talented individual player, but he's not a team player. And that's what I don't like about him, more so than anything else surrounding him, all the controversy and everything like that. And the fact that he turns up late for training and he was warned. But then the club are to blame as well because they, especially Thomas Frank, because he put him back in. So what sort of message is that sending? Maybe it was out of circumstance, we had to play him. But me personally, I wouldn't have played him regardless. I would have got somebody from the youth team and given them a chance because I always go on what Steve Perriman says. You can't beat an academy player that's come up through the ranks and he deserves a chance. And maybe Luca Barnett would have been a better choice at the time. Yeah, and I just think his attitude is all bad.
Right, I just want to catch up with the chat and then I'm going to say something to you else. Right. Archer says Langer is just there to bodge up transfers and provide excuses for the lack of signings. Kate, thank you very much, Kate. It's a great show this morning. Thank you, Kate. Your comments about the wet letters have made me laugh all morning long.
I
Yeah.
know.
Anita says our club spends money with no vision for the football side of our club. Sonny, he's a good man, Sonny. Look,
It's
he knows the
true.
routine. He says, I gave you 2 likes, mate. Always do as I watch on my Xbox Gal
Well
account
done.
and on chat on my phone. Thank you very much. When you're asked the question, Sort Bill's coming with Romero. Drula's coming with the ringleader Romero. Um, David Clark says a good banker is only one letter away from a anchor. Um, Nita says Levy was friends with Potts outside of football, according to Levy. He still sacked him. Sonny says the rise Langer got will take me like nearly 6.5, 7 or 8 years to earn, man. Definitely in the wrong job. Um, Drula says apparently Frank was scared of Romero,
Oh,
and I think a lot
my
of these
cat.
players are too. Ricky Bradley Good Bardley, sorry, Ricky Bardley. Good morning, sorry, good afternoon, Ricky. Thank you for being here. Says forget Basuma, he can go and do one. David Clark says I would sell that fraud VDV, a typical Dutch footballer. When things aren't going well, he's top. Sorry, when things are going well, he's top draw. But things go wrong and they open their mouths off the pitch, but don't perform. His body language is poor. Drula is right. She says we're only 4 likes away from 50, guys. Get this lovely channel up. Yeah, get this lovely channel up. We are. I don't even know
Yeah.
what we are, but
Lovely
it'd be good
being the
to be.
operative word.
It would be good if we could get to 50. Sonny says, what does Sonny say? Yeah, I can only see us on 45 at the moment. But Sonny says, I reckon we've always had weak players. Like, for example, look, when Wilson Palacios came in, we needed this one Yama, etc. Now Paulinha. Nita says, we need a manager who is going to come in and get rid of enough players. Don't care what the players' names is. And Paige is talking to David, saying, David Clark, we Dutchies get too big for your own britches when we all have a good spell. Right, I was going to say, do people of people of a certain age? There used to be a program on many moons ago where an unnamed, I won't name the person because the person was done for naughtiness, right? But he used to have a show where he used to draw, and he used to draw matchstick men. Yeah, do you remember the matchstick men drawer? He used to draw
Yes,
matchstick
I
men. Yeah,
do.
okay. 50 years ago, he was drawing these matchsticks, right? And these matchsticks were all Vicario. Because when you're saying he's got 2 left feet, Ellie, he's built like a matchstick, man. He's built like a scarecrow, right? That's got no hay, right? And he doesn't command his box. He's feeble in the challenge. I can't see. It's not just
Yeah.
his kicking. He's uninspiring. Doesn't help. Doesn't inspire anyone. Doesn't help anyone out. And for me, I'm just going to say I'm further adding that to my Vicario was my first person out comment.
Yeah,
Um,
like I've seen him. I've seen him. He got out of his car, right? I saw him in his car, and he winked at me. But also because I said hello, Vicario, and he winked at me, which was nice. But I haven't got a soft spot for him, by the way. But his physicality, right? I've seen him in his clothes. He's so slim. There's nothing of him. I know David Raya's slim, but he's got a bit of up top, and his legs are all right. But Vicario, his hips are like that. He's so tiny,
he's got
right? And
Shakira. He's got Shakira
he's a
hips.
very agile goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, he's agile, and when he hasn't got time to think, he's fabulous. Like boom, and he'll save. He's an instinctive goalie like that. But all the rest of his game is so poor, yeah,
Mm,
that it's a liability to the team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, look who we got here. Look, he's here. He's here. He does this. He comes in and fucking runs off. Right. Big up, big up, Jose
Vindaloo.
Ellie Chang. Just a quick pop in to smash a like. If you guys are thinking of protesting, us Arsenal fans will stand shoulder to shoulder with you. We're gonna lose 6 points a season, Jose.
Oh no, I've seen that one.
And
It
Vindaloo
wasn't
goes.
that way when Potts was here though.
He also says right off for Sunday lunch. Big up everyone in a bit. But then he's come back in. He's popped in and he says, "Oh, smash the likes if you still want us to bottle it." That's a good idea. If
Yes,
any of you haven't smashed the
that is
likes
a good
yet,
one.
if any of you haven't smashed the
Well
likes yet,
done, Vinders.
and we're trying to get to 50, we are currently on 46. We need 4 more likes. If you think Arsenal are going to bottle it, Vinders is saying hit the like button. That may get us to the 50. I'm not sure. It depends whether people are that way inclined. Um,
Right,
Sonny,
Jose, before you go on to the next one, just I'll forget. Right, I want you to do a call to Iriola and speak to him in your native language, Spanish, and tell him he's got to go to the Emirates and make Vindaloo suffer. Don't speak to Arteta, just to Iriola. Go there and take the 3 points.
you got Sonny J says Saint and Greasy was good. Um, oh, here he is.
Yeah,
Tudor says, oh,
brilliant.
here he is, Vinda Bottloo. Um, Kate, Kate is
That's a good
Kate,
one, man.
Kate is saying
I'm going to call him that from now on.
Kate is saying Romero would have been the first out for her. And Sonny J says, don't forget them poppadoms. I actually think Vindaloo is probably going for a roast dinner rather than an Indian, to be honest with you. Right, my last
Yeah,
thing is,
he's going
I
for
just
an
want
English.
it's only because we're talking about him now, right? It's only because we're talking about him now. I'm going to ask the question of Chang and then of you, Ellie. Right,
Yeah.
there has been. We know that Vicario, because he's the person that we're talking about. We know that Vicario's had an operation, right? He's had a procedure done.
Mm.
Chang, do you believe, or do your thoughts only, will Vicario be in between the sticks for the game on Sunday, the 12th of April against away to Sunderland?
I doubt it. I honestly do doubt it, Jose. I think it's too soon for him to come back so soon after his surgery. Players returning from surgery, they need some time to recuperate, and you need only have to ask both Kulusevski and James Maddison about this, especially since it's the Spurs medical department that we're talking about here. And I would rather pine my hopes on Kinski rather than Vicario, because I think Kinski now has got the bit between his teeth after that rather poor horror showing away at Madrid against Atletico. And I would honestly stick with Kinski if given a choice. And I think it's not just for this season. I think Vicario might have played his last game for us in that game against Forest. But I mean, again, with Spurs, anything can happen. And regardless if whether it's Kinski or Vicario who's going to be playing away at Sunderland, I wish the goalkeeper all the very best. And having said that as well, I think I have to take my leave now. It's very, very, very dark out here. I have to be heading home right now. It's almost 8 p.m. It's 10 minutes to 8 p.m. Thank you so very much, Jose, for having me on. Thank you also, Queen Ellie,
All right, Chang.
for being here on the
Yeah,
chair here
brilliant.
today. Again, I need to. I will keep in mind now that the clocks have gone forward, and if you're going to do Saturday or even Sunday, I will be around and I'll keep in mind of the change to a time zone. But other than that, it's going to be Chang over and out here from Southeast Asia. Till next time, everybody, stay safe and come on, you Spurs. Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to hit the like button, Chang. See you later, mate. Take care.
For sure,
Chang's a
for sure.
lovely guy,
See
isn't
you later.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's a proper Spurs fan, isn't he? Old Chang.
yeah,
I
the
love
bowling
him.
land says no way Vic plays that soon after he's up. Kate says Romero for walking at Forest, not a captain for me. Also, Flappy Vicario let more goals in than saving them. Sonny J says that's why we can't. He can't kick a ball, Vic. A hernia is painful. I've had this before. Lifting a safe, tilting it upright about 20 years ago now, and in agony for a bit after. Right, Ellie, what are your thoughts
Yeah.
on is Vicario going to be in
Um,
the sticks for the next game?
no, my nephew Elias, he had the same operation and he was out for 6 weeks. So I don't think he's going to be in for the next two games. I reckon. But in terms of who should play as well, should Austin play or Kinski? I'd go with Austin. Right. I just think he's a stronger looking goalkeeper. When he played against Newcastle, he had a really good game and he deserves a chance. He's been loyal to our club, right? And he's never spoken out once that he's, he's upset that he's not playing. He's professional. He gets in, he does his job. When I see him warming up, he's very impressive. Yeah, and we hardly ever see Vicario warming up, probably because of this hernia thing, right? And I just think he deserves a chance, and also if you play Kinski, he's going to have that thing on his mind as well. I think Austin all round, he's got more experience because he's played in our youth side and he's played in the under 21s and he knows the Premiership. I just think he's a better all round goalie in terms of his physique, his strength. He showed against Newcastle that he got man of the match that game, and then he never got a look in again. So I think it's time that we gave him a chance, you know,
Yeah,
and it's a big, big game, and I think he'll be up for it because he, out of everybody in the whole of our entire squad, has been treated poorly in regards to game time, and I think he'll have a point to prove. I think it'll be a good thing.
right. So for me, it's two things, right? Before we finish up, Sonny's saying plus when he's stretching. Oh, sorry. Plus when he's stretching too, that won't help, but he still should be able to save long shots though. Big up, Chang. Be lucky, mate. So, and Nita's saying, anyone going to watch the Colombia versus France game tonight might be a game to watch. We can pretend to be the
Mm.
scouts. What I was going to say, two things was one, Ellie, you're quite right. You're quite right. Um, in the sense of I've always said this about because I get there before the game as well. And when they're doing the warm ups, I've always said that Vicario's never between the sticks when they're doing the warm ups. When they do the crosses from as imitation free kicks, the corners and stuff like that pre-game when they're doing it all, it's always either Kinski or Austin
Yeah,
that's in the goal. It's never ever been Vicario. Vicario seems to
yeah,
do a little bit. He does a little bit of kicking the ball, and that's about it. And then doesn't do more than that. And then he goes off, so he's not there, is he? So you're quite right.
yeah,
It could be
true.
because of this injury. That now the other thing I was going to say, I don't know much about hernias. Never had one myself. I don't think so. I don't know much about them. But surely it must depend on the size, I would have thought, of the hernia they're taking out or whatever. It would depend on the size of the hernia as to the length of time you're going to be out for. So I would have thought the bigger the hernia, the longer you're going to be out for. So it's not knowing how big his hernia was, but it seems that it was calculated. It was calculated that that Tottenham took the decision to operating on him. I think it was the Monday, the day after the game against Forest, because Italy already knew about it because he never got selected for the Italian squad. So they must have already spoken to the Italians and said to him, look, he's going to go in for a procedure. So they've calculated it all. Do you think they've calculated it all with the inference that he might be back, or they've calculated it to try and minimise the amount of time he's out for?
Yeah, I think the
And
latter is
good
right.
afternoon. Good afternoon to Si. I hope you're well, Si. Says afternoon, Jose Nelly.
Yeah. All right, side dancer. Yeah, I think they've calculated it from the latter, right? But I just think they're putting too much Vicario as well, coming back to who I think should play, regardless of whether he's had a hernia or not. I think it's time to give Austin a chance. Um, whether the club think that, it seems that way because they haven't given him a chance, have they? They've given him one game that I can't remember him playing another game, and it just seems weird. It really is weird because when we that Newcastle game, he played very well, and I've seen him in other games for the under 21s when he used to play, and he was very impressive, and they had a lot of high hopes for him. But they've always brought someone in front of him. If it wasn't Forster, and it's not Kinski, but even before that time, they were buying keepers before him. Yeah, and I just find it so weird. What is it about him that they don't trust?
Mm,
You know, we've seen that he's quite his feet. Oh, okay, most fans have only seen him against Newcastle, unless they've seen him when he was younger, you know, and playing in the under 21s. But I've seen him quite a lot, and I think he's a very good goalkeeper. He's got good attributes, and he's quite well built. You know, he's physically in tune. You know, like you look at him and you think, yeah, he's strong. He's
yeah.
definitely 100% stronger than Vicario when it comes to free kicks and corners. We've seen that. I've seen it when he's been younger as well. And when he's walking up, it's really, really good at taking the corners. I know he's not under pressure because they don't put anybody on, but it's just the catching
Yeah.
and commanding your box. Yeah. So it's just the way he's not getting game time. It's weird.
Mm.
What do you think?
If he's going to be out, right, and you've got a choice to make now, there's a reason why they bought Kinski in, right, and paid that. It wasn't the heaviest amount of money, but they must have scouted him, or was this another scatterbrain decision? If they've scouted him, there's a reason why they've bought him in. Whether it was to speculate to accumulate and move the player on at a profit, and there's also a reason why they gave Austin a 5-year deal. Now,
Mm.
with the Austin, was it because they believe in Austin, or was it because the easiest thing to do was give him a 5-year deal at, at a really, really low salary, which meant that you have more manoeuvrability to bring other goalkeepers in? Um, but if he's going to be out, then someone at Tottenham needs to make a decision on who you bring in. Um, Obviously, out of the three keepers that we've got, if Vicario's out of the other two keepers, the person with more experience is obviously Kinski, because Kinski was a
Mm.
first team goalkeeper in the Czech Republic before he came over to us. He was playing Champions League football and
Was he
everything.
at Sparta Prague
He was one of
before?
one of
Yeah,
the, but he was
it's not
first team keeper.
Slavia Prague, Sparta Prague.
He was first
Yeah,
choice keeper. He'd played in Europe, and everything like that. Where Austin
maybe.
has been at the club for like ever, but only had
Yeah,
one game, 2 games for Tottenham. But looking on the evidence on the eyes, if you look at the games that they've played, the person who seems to have fared better when they've been in goal seems to be Austin. But the sample size is a lot smaller.
yeah,
But
that's it.
he's fared better than the other two goalkeepers in the games that he's played. Um, Personally, what would I do? It's a hard one to call because I know what I would do, but then I'm not a professional manager that gets paid all the bucks. I would probably start Austin in goal.
Yeah.
It's probably what I would do. I'd probably start
What does the
Austin in.
chat think?
Marianne says he couldn't kick a ball before the hernia either. Going back to Vicario,
Oh no.
Kate Kate is saying, if you want wet lettuce to get out, get the likes up, lovely people. The wet lettuce for everybody that doesn't know Kate, the wet
I hate
lettuce
lettuce as
or the
well.
or the
I hate
main
it. I
wet.
will never. I hate it. My Angela, she loves putting lettuce in salads, and I think, oh, it's
I
got
love
no flavour. It doesn't
I,
serve a purpose.
I like lettuce, a lettuce with a nice
I
drizzle
like
of olive,
spinach and rocket in my salad,
nice
and
bit of olive oil,
coriander.
nice
Yeah,
bit of olive oil.
spinach, coriander, and what else did I say? Rocket. Yeah,
Yeah,
because rocket's got a lot of flavour. Coriander's got a
pepper,
lot of flavour,
got a
and
lot of pepper with
spinach is
rocket.
lovely. But I chop my spinach. I don't leave it whole. I chop it a bit because it's got the strands, isn't it?
And she knows how to
Yeah,
cook, Ellie, because I've tasted her
yeah,
food. So
yeah.
she knows how to cook.
And
Um,
another good tip, right, is cabbage, the big cabbage, the green one, right, really big one, that's like an oval rugby ball shape, and you cut onion. Bobby Kay agree with this because he came to my house. Cabbage and onion salad is absolutely stunning with loads of lemon, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt. Yeah, so don't do your blood pressure up. That is a very nice salad, I must admit.
so you've come here,
It's simple, but it's beautiful tasting.
you've come on here, and you're getting cooking tips as well as football tips.
Yeah.
There we go. So Kate says, if you want the wet lettuce out, get the likes up, lovely people. For those of you that don't know Kate, the biggest wet lettuce at the club is Johan Langer, but Kate's other wet lettuces are obviously Villa Vincatessium, and other wet lettuces are the board. So do as Kate
Yeah.
says. If you don't want wet lettuces at the club, hit the likes. I will say that we're on 48 likes. Two more gets us to 50, and I thank you all for watching us. Ricky says, I like the Bodo manager, Ketil Knutson. His
Oh,
football is quality. Um,
yeah.
Nita says, yeah, he is a decent manager. Nita says, remember, our current scouts ain't right in their heads. You buy in one thing, yet you don't help to develop a strong squad. And Nita then says, Ellie, you're talking. I love my food. There we go.
Yes.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think we've covered everything Tottenham that we can cover
Yeah.
for the last week.
Had a
No,
good old natter, haven't we,
yeah,
Jose?
the
Yeah.
no news is good news, I suppose, Ellie, at the moment. We this weekend we haven't been beaten. We haven't lost that.
Yes.
We haven't lost this weekend. Do you know what else?
Yeah.
We're not gonna lose next weekend either. But
I,
uh, go on.
I've lost a bit of cred with my husband because I'm on the stream and he had to make a peanut butter sandwich. He goes, Elle, can you make me breakfast? I said, no, I'm on Jose's show. So he goes, it'll have to be a peanut butter sandwich then. Because he won't cook, my husband. He just doesn't cook.
Theo, Ellie's gonna blame it on me. She's got someone to blame it on. So it's all my fault,
Yeah.
Theo, that your food wasn't made and that you had to
He,
sell for old peanut butter sandwich. Theo, I'm really sorry. Please accept my apologies.
do you know, I'm going to make you laugh now, right? It was our anniversary, right? And he wanted to cook for me, right? So he goes, Elle, I'm going to cook for you. I said, all right then. So I went out and then we come back with Angela and he put prawns on a plate, cold prawns with lettuce and cucumber.
And forgot to put the sauce on it.
I nearly fell down with laughter,
And
honestly.
he didn't put the sauce on it, so it weren't a prawn cocktail. It was
No,
just a prawn.
because he doesn't like sauce on. You know, when you have a prawn cocktail, he hates the sauce. He just has a bit of lemon and a bit of salt.
So he's
But
giving you the cucumber, the lettuce, the prawn with no salt, no
yeah,
lemon, no olive oil, nothing.
nothing.
At least he attempted it. He's done something. He's opened the prawns up. He's done something, isn't he? You got to give him
You know,
kudos
they
for that.
say a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Well, it's the same for a woman, but he hasn't got it.
Oh yeah. What I will say,
I married a man who can't cook, but he's a lovely man. He really
yeah,
is a
he is a
lovely
good man.
man.
I've met him and he is a
Yeah,
very, very good man.
uh,
He had me talking about the olden days non-stop when I went round
yeah.
yours. Um,
QPR fan as
yeah,
well.
right. So what I'm going to say, right, next week we probably will have a show next Sunday. Um, although there's no Tottenham match, we'll still get together because a lot happens in a week at Tottenham, or doesn't.
It
But
does.
we'll get together next week. We'll chew the fat between now and next week. Ellie, you coming on next week?
Yes, I'll come on.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we
I
go. So
don't think there's any special occasion in my family on next Sunday, so no.
we're
I'll
blessed.
warn Tios way before.
Yeah, we're blessed.
Or Theo, as you call him.
We'll have the company of the Queen next week as well, and we'll come on next week, and we'll just talk about where we've left off today, what happens between
Yeah,
Monday and next week, and we'll have a chat about it, and see
yeah,
where we are next week. So everybody, thank you very much for tuning in today. Have we got to the 50
Jose.
just as we go? Have we got to the
Come
50?
on, we've got to the 50.
50. Oh
If you have,
yes, 51. We have.
yes, come
Brilliant.
on.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, we shall see you next week. I'm going to play you out with the old famous intro, outro. And from me, my last words is always going to be "Come on, you Spurs." Ellie?
My last words are L tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. Come on,
People, thank
Jose.
you very
What a
much.
Spurs fan, eh?
Take
Brilliant.
care. See you later, everyone. Bye bye.
Mwah.
Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky, knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.